pretty sure I don't have rabies. Like, that's a great way to start the show.
You don't have rabies.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, like, if I had rabies, like, I would have already been feeling the symptoms of it. Like hydrophobia.
I actually was watching some videos of, like, people who were infected with it, and, like, it showcased their symptoms, and that shit is scary.
Well,
it is.
Yeah, you end up dying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, just, like, the way it progresses so quickly and the symptoms, it's just really scary looking.
Like I said earlier, like, it is probably the most poetic death I could ever ask for. My jaw being locked shut.
Oh. Speaking of which, Rockstar Games announced they're going to reveal more info on Red Dead Redemption 2 next Thursday.
Take your time, Rockstar. Take your fucking time. Seriously.
They are.
If it's shit, I will never forgive you.
To be fair, I believe, I could be mistaken, they've been developing it since 2011.
Yeah, they have been. And they've delayed it for another year, and people were bitching about it. It's like, fuck you.
More delays. No.
I want this game to be fucking good.
They should just keep it a secret. Like, from now on, all game companies have to keep it a secret until they're done with the game, and then you get to know.
Hey, Rob Ray.
Yeah, but they also want to create hype and all that stuff.
I know.
Oh, yeah, Puerto Rico's dark.
Yeah, and apparently there's a dam that has busted.
Maybe this will be finally the thing where it's like, okay, we have to make Puerto Rico a state. They're fucked.
Yeah.
Nah, not gonna happen.
Yeah, because there's no other there's no U.S. territory that votes consistently Republican to counter it. That's the only reason shitbag Alaska got. I'll fucking say it. I might lose my entire Alaskan demographic, but you fuckers shouldn't be a state.
Wait,
there's not enough fucking people who live there permanently to justify Alaska being a state.
Oil.
Like, fucking Rhode Island has more people living in it than fucking Alaska does.
You know what? No Hawaii either. They can be their own country.
No Hawaii can, like...
No, we could keep them.
No, we successfully overthrew the elected government of Hawaii. Finders keepers.
I don't think it's really finding it if you have to overthrow a government. I don't think that's kind of finding. I think that's more like robbery.
Columbus founded shit.
Okay. But he didn't really find it. People had already been there.
Yeah, but they didn't
including people from Europe.
They didn't know how valuable shit was or something. I don't know. Also, small part, I'm so tired.
Welcome to the club.
Also, like, I'll say it, even though Planet Nibiru isn't happening, I hope it happens. Like, this is legitimately the first time where it's like, the end of the world is happening where I'm like, you know what, good. I hope it does. Sincerely.
It's not.
Maybe not an end of the world, but just, you know, just a nice smack.
I don't think there is such a thing as not ending the world if an entire planet crashes into the Earth.
That'd be fun.
I never got the whole thing with the wandering planet shit, because a lot of people, well, a lot of those idiots, they don't realize that the galaxy itself is moving.
And?
They don't take that into consideration. Like, they think the galaxy is like a stationary thing. It's like, no.
But all the shit inside the galaxy is the galaxy, so it would it wouldn't matter if the galaxy is moving or not. For a planet that is part of the galaxy to crash into something else.
Yeah, but there's like a rogue planet It's got to be like moving faster than the galaxy to get into the galaxy. And actually,
It's already in the galaxy.
But isn't like Nibiru supposed to be outside of the galaxy or something? I don't remember.
Are you confusing solar system and galaxy?
I might be.
Okay.
Probably.
Galaxy is the big like spiral thing with a like bunch of stars. And solar system is the sun and the planets going around it.
It's also it's the planets that orbit the stars within that galaxy. That creates
stars are useless.
No, not.
I don't know. Like, why am I saying these things?
Well, if you remember correctly from science class, the sun is a star.
Yeah.
Some people argue that the sun is not a star; it's a sun.
I'll issue this challenge right now. The sun. Meet me down at the Piggly Wiggly.
What? You're gonna fight the sun?
You do realize that if the sun goes to the Piggly Wiggly, it goes to the entire Earth.
I'm just saying, like Super Mario fought the sun.
Okay,
Matt. You know what it would send? It wouldn't send itself. It would send its son, Nuclear Man. Remember that guy from Superman? Superman 2.
Oh yeah, the solar-powered guy.
Yeah, Nuclear Man, right? Pretty sure it was Nuclear Man.
Lex Luthor's voice for some reason.
Did it? Yeah.
Well, Superman is solar-powered too. He's kind of a hippie, really. Even his superpowers.
Also, he had long claws for like some weird reason that he could scratch Superman with.
Oh, so something I learned the other day is that, at least with some of the comic stories, that Superman gets PTSD whenever he either when somebody dies because of him or he has to kill someone. Doesn't matter who. If somebody dies.
Just as like a character trait that if someone dies,
well, not anybody. Like if someone dies, like in his hands, so to speak, like he can't save someone.
You would think he would have been fairly used to that.
Yeah, like Superman, you can't be fucking everywhere at once. You know how many people are being
no, not like that, not like that, not just like anybody. I mean, like specifically, like if let's say like he's in a scenario where like he can't save somebody and they die, or he has to kill a villain or whatever. He gets really attached to that thing because he's so enshrined in the whole like I can't hurt another person, I can't allow somebody to be hurt, even if they're bad.
Not all the time though.
I mean, some storylines. I guess it depends on the comics. Some comics it's like that.
It's like that's something I wish they would fucking goddamn play around with more. Is give a shit if you're stronger than him or if you're as strong as him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll fucking kill you. Like, that's why him killing Zod, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, Zod and Superman, for all intents and purposes, are the fucking only two adults on the fucking planet right now. It's an entire planet of fucking children, and one of the adults wants to kill the children.
Or did he send him, like, how did Zod play out?
Yeah, he's killed Zod in the comic books a couple of times. Like, he killed Zod and, like he basically he poisoned Zod in one universe, like, slowly, and just stood there and watched him die. That was a weird story. That was, like, technically a different universe, though, so...
Wait, was that Superman, like... Was that Earth 1?
Purist. No, it was the actual Superman, but he got thrown through space-time or something.
He'd eventually come back to the regular.
Yeah, and then he became Gangbuster for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the 90s were weird for Superman.
The 90s were weird for all superheroes.
He got AOL powers at one point.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like when do you remember Superman Red and Blue?
Who asked him?
Yes, I do.
It was like the electric version of Superman.
Yeah, this was after the death of Superman, and everyone was trying to cope with it. And
yeah.
and
No, this was actually way after Death of Superman. This was probably like 5-7 years. Basically, the reason that Superman Red and Blue happened is because AOL was bought by Time Warner, and they wanted to hype up like the internet. So they were like, let's give Superman electric power so he can travel through like phone lines and shit. And it's like, why is that practical? He can fucking fly through buildings. He doesn't need to do this shit. This is dumb.
he can travel through cyberspace and fight cyber villains now.
It depends on the kryptonite, Jimson. Like, green kryptonite is basically super uranium.
Word. Oh, so real quick,
And then, like, red kryptonite makes Superman evil?
Yeah, it does.
And super angry.
Wait, no, red kryptonite just destroys him. It turns him into like a frail being.
No, I think that's black kryptonite.
Oh, that's red.
Let me check. Like, they got a thing.
Red Sun's like deplete his powers and turns into like a frail weak.
Well,
it suppresses him. Wait, no, you know what? I'm totally thinking of a red sun versus red kryptonite. My bad. A red sun takes away his takes away his powers, or suppresses his powers. Whereas, I guess red kryptonite makes.
That's like his normal sun. That's what Krypton had.
Yeah.
But which also means that either Krypton was fairly close to its star, or Krypton was fairly warm. Fairly cold, depending on the atmosphere.
So yeah, basically, red kryptonite was originally just a stronger version of green kryptonite. But then they were like, "That's kind of boring. So let's just have them fucking. Let's have red kryptonite make him like evil." Then there's anti-kryptonite.
Not just evil, like evil and super angry.
Anti-kryptonite is basically, it's kryptonite that only kills humans. It doesn't kill Superman, but it kills humans.
I'm pretty sure that's just normal radioactivity.
Yeah. X-kryptonite. Okay, X-kryptonite is just regular kryptonite. Blue kryptonite.
It makes him have to pee.
Blue kryptonite is basically kryptonite for Bizarro, but it's also an antidote for green kryptonite.
That's convenient.
White kryptonite kills all plant life from any world.
Wait. So where's the line drawn? Why would any other world have plants? Plants is something we have specific here on Earth.
No, like fauna. Or flora.
Well, but again, that's assuming that life on other planets would develop the same way it has on Earth. Like, there's nothing like the idea of plants isn't necessarily something that like division between plant and animal.
No, there's red kryptonite
on other planets.
The first version of red green kryptonite. It just has Superman grow a third eye in the back of his head.
Ew.
Oddly specific.
This was 1961. Like, this was ass deep in the Silver Age goofiness. Gold kryptonite. Kryptonite affected by atomic ray, capable of permanent. Okay, so that's the one that like removes like Superman's ability to process yellow sunlight. So red, green, blue, gold kryptonite. Oh yeah, that's the one that created Superman blue and Superman red. Silver kryptonite. You know what? There's too many kryptonites. I'm bored of fucking reading this shit. There's a lot of fucking kryptonite and they do dumb fucking things.
Isn't there one that turns him gay? I seem to remember that.
There might be one. It's Batman can't be gay. You can't make Batman gay. I'm not joking either. That's literally in the contracts whenever you write a Batman comic. You can't have Bruce Wayne or Dick Grayson be gay, even if it's an Elseworld story. Oh, look at Lundy. He's not coming in here because he knows something. Boku no Hero, something. I don't know.
Okay, no, that's you, Matt. You are the one who does that. Lundy, like, if you weren't in here and Lundy came in here, he wouldn't start talking about it.
He might.
Okay, not just like spontaneously, like you bring it up as soon as you see him. Like it's a compulsion.
Let's see, I'm filling with my poker. Like, look, Lundy, something. I should have probably did this earlier when I was more, like, cogent. But I didn't have weed earlier, so... like Sophie's Choice, am I right?
Not really.
I'd go up to Sophie and be like, look, I had to choose whether or not to do a show wide awake without weed or do a show while I'm like half fucking sleepy and, high. What did you have to do? Ooh, just choose between two kids? You still got fucking a vagina. You can have more.
I think at that point you would receive some kind of slap or punch.
Maybe, probably.
And you would deserve it.
I probably would. They should make a kryptonite, like Lundy brought up. They should make a kryptonite that makes Superman gender fluid.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm super them.
What they should do is make one that makes him like really, really tiny. So you just have like a tiny little Superman.
Lundy apparently said, wait, that's a question, Lundy. Fucking everything you don't question mark? That makes no sense. You're high, Lundy. He probably is. He's probably vaping right now. Probably fucking dabbing. Fucking just singing Noob Noob. That's why he can't fucking come on. He's singing the Noob Noob song for Rick and Morty.
It's a Noob Noob? Oh, right, the Noob, yeah. Oh, damn. Or was it goddamn? No, it was just damn.
God damn! I can't do Noob Noob's voice. I don't get why people don't like the new. Like people are like dissing the new season for being too dark. Like
what?
Wait, that's not what.
Episode. That this is going to be the.
That's not why people are dissing it. It's
no, I have seen people like. There's a lot of reasons people are dissing the new season, but like one of the ones I keep seeing come up a lot is like it's the show's gotten too dark.
Who cares?
Like, what the fuck?
Really? The show has always been dark. It's not. It hasn't
also,
really gotten
like,
that much darker.
Also, there are people like the other big one is people are like they got women on the writing staff.
Oh no! How horrible!
Women can't be funny. It's science. Everybody knows comedy falls out of a vagina. That's why God gave us the nutsack. It's like a little comedy basket.
Is that why it's so funny seeing people get hit in it?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Because like when you get hit in it, it's like a wave of funny comes out
Yeah,
of it. Like when you hit a bell and a sound wave comes out of a bell. Honestly, I think like this season's been pretty good. Like there's been some episodes where it's like, like the Rick and Jerry one. I was like, that one's okay.
I kind of like
that was the
one.
Show Me What You Got episode of this season, because I didn't like the Show Me. I think the Show Me What You Got episode was the weakest episode of season 2, in my opinion.
Awesome.
Like I like.
To be fair, this past
It wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh man, that was the worst. Like it just.
Well,
it's like with a season of Venture Brothers.
It was just a filler episode, really.
Yeah, but at the same time, I like that they actually swerved us. It was like, yeah, we're not doing Dimensional Cable. We're doing something different with a filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
It wasn't completely a filler. There was still some development.
Well, here's the thing. Like, Lundy, what fan base isn't fucking toxic? The Steven Universe fan base has almost driven people to kill themselves, and that show is about love and acceptance. Like, you have a cynical ass fucking, like, existential show like Rick and Morty? Yeah, that's going to attract a lot of pieces of shit. Like, because, you know, I think it was last Friday, because I was showing Lundy about this. Like, people are comparing Rick and Morty to Xavier Renegade Angel. And they're like, Renegade Angel is the smarter show. And it's like, no, Renegade Angel and Rick and Morty are two completely different things. Like, Renegade Angel wasn't an ad-lib show. Like, Renegade Angel was a very strictly scripted show.
Well, Rick and Morty isn't completely ad-libbed.
Yeah,
there is like a lot of scripting.
Like Rick and Morty, it's more of like, here's an outline and here's the beats.
Mm-hmm.
It's how like wrestling used to be, where it's like, instead of like, this is what you have to say down to the letter, it's like, this is the main points we want you to hit here.
Come up with something that sounds cool.
Yeah, just everything in between, like, you just make sure it all flows good. Because, like, yeah, like, a lot of, like, the episodes that are pretty much completely, like, ad-lib are, like, Interdimensional Cable and maybe, well, probably not actually, like, Morty's Mind Blowers, because that had, like, then again, like, Interdimensional Cable did also have B-plots. So those were actually probably not ad-lib.
And I like the B-plot in the first Interdimensional Cable is pretty good. I like that. One of the better B-plots in the first season.
Yeah, Undertale's fan base, like, I'm kind of fucking, like, responsible to that for an extent. You know, I am kind of glad, like, the Boku no Hero fan base isn't shit yet. Like, pretty much everybody is just like, we just really like this show. Like, let's just talk about how great this show is.
Give it a few.
I mean,
years.
Like, what's an example of a toxic anime fan base? Like, how would it be how would it turn toxic? Like, what would need to happen? What would they start saying?
Like, what's the worst? What's the worst anime fan base I could think of?
Naruto?
I wish Lundy was here because he could probably come up with one.
Naruto have a toxic fan base?
Not really. They have more of an annoying fan base, if anything. That's the problem. Like any of the like a lot of the anime fandoms I'm thinking of, it's like, yeah, they're not really toxic. They're just more like annoying.
They yeah, because their whole world ends up surrounding that show.
My
It's
anime
like,
is the
look-
longest, thus it's superior. It's been around for longer.
You know what? Maybe Sword Art Online, when that was still popular.
Wait,
But at the same time, like people have pretty much completely turned on Sword Art Online.
yeah,
so,
because they realized how fucking stupid it is.
yeah. Also, maybe the Attack on Titan like fan base, but again, that's having like the same thing that Sword Art Online had, where people are like, "Man, season 2 is like really fucking dumb." I'll be honest, I love season 2 because of how fucking dumb it is. Because unlike the fucking manga writer, the people who are making the show are having fun with all of the dumbness of the fucking series, which is why the fucking basement key became like a running joke in season 2. I love that shit. You know what? Yeah, Death Note probably. Yeah, Death Note probably has like a fairly prickish fan base.
Yeah, that's probably a good guess. But yeah, no, it seems to be mostly Western shows that end up with like a super toxic fan base.
And Lundy, I know it's going to happen. Like, the shitbags are going to come to Boku no Hero. It's inevitable. Like, I don't know if the Neon Genesis Evangelion, like, Lundy, we brought up, like, Micro brought up Naruto earlier, and it's like,
I
them
didn't
were
bring
just
that
annoying.
up.
Oh, Sammy did. Gundam might be fucking, to be fair. Also, hey, Agent of Doubt, Gundam might be, like, kind of crap, too, maybe? Then again, like, I don't see a lot of Gundam fans anymore. Like, Skull is, like, the one Gundam fan I've seen in, like, years. Then again, Gundam is starting to get good again, so maybe, like, there'll be a spike. Inuyasha was fucking kind of, like, their fan base was really annoying when that show was popular. Yeah, you know what, Lundy? Yeah, you know, I forgot about that. Like, the romance animes, like, they have really shitty, fucking toxic fan bases because they get really angry with people who are like, you can't have the same waifu as I do, or, like, you ship these people wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
That happens too in like other fan bases, but it's more like heightened within.
Well, of course, because
romance anime, because like that's the whole point of like romance anime. Is like with the Boku no Hero, me and Lundy, we argue about best girl on Boku no Hero, but here's like the thing about like the like especially the female characters on Boku no Hero. And I think Lundy will 100% agree with me on this. And Sammy, I know you've started watching Boku no Hero, so you probably will agree with me on this. If you take any one of the female characters and drop them into their own anime, they would be the best girl of that anime.
Yeah, you can make their own series. Like every single character can have their own series, and it'll be pretty decent if they have good writers, obviously.
Like if you drop Momo Creation Girl in her own in like her own anime series, or just like in another anime series, like just another random superpower-ish anime series, like she'd be best girl of that fucking series.
Yeah.
Same with Alien Queen.
Again, it depends on who's writing.
Suyu or Uraka or fucking Earphone Jack or like literally any of them. Hell, even Invisible Girl, the female character who probably gets the least amount of screen time, she'd be fucking awesome in another anime series if there was a character like her.
Well, how can you give her screen time if she's invisible?
Well, I mean, you know she's there. Right?
Yeah, it's just they don't like focus on her a lot.
She's literally a background character, like in every sense of the word.
No, like we're talking rapists. Then again, like I kind of rooted for him in the stupid in the anime when he was fighting against Midnight. I'll admit it. Like they actually successfully pulled off that scene way better in the anime than they did in the manga. Also, what's up, Lundy?
What's up? I didn't hear.
You
hear your point on what we talked about with Boku no Hero because I was not
okay. So, as much as we fight about best girl, if you took any of the female characters and put them into a different anime, they would be the best girl of that anime.
Yeah, because all of the girls in Boku no Hero are actually like really well done. To be fair, I don't think there's a single one except the Invisible Girl. I
was bringing her up where it's like they don't focus a lot on her, but like she's fun. Like the screen time she does get, like her personality gets over. Like she's kind of a bubbly airhead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you get what she's supposed to be. I think it's interesting that she's just permanently invisible, so nobody knows what she looks like ever.
Well, she doesn't look like anything. That's the point. Invisible.
Well, she does.
Micro, I thought of a good...
The lights are reflecting off her in such a way that you can't see what she looks like.
I thought of another good, really useless superpower this week.
Oh no, not this shit again.
You're invisible, or your internal organs are invisible.
That seems... How is that a superpower? How can you possibly use that?
That's
Here's the
point,
thing, though, right? How Invisible Girl. Here's something you gotta realize too. So technically, she's always naked. Right? Well, when she's in costume, she's naked.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite part with the practical exams with her and Octopus Arm dude going up against Snipe. Ultimately, they won because Snipe accidentally touched her boob, and he was like, "Okay, I'm really awkward. I'm really uncomfortable now."
So here's the thing, right?
I feel like I'm gonna get arrested. This is not good. I'm not okay with this.
So, as soon as you get someone who can take away your powers, boom, she's kind of in a very vulnerable position.
Yeah. So Eraserhead probably would never do that.
Yeah.
He'd just be like, I don't want to reveal the fact that this girl's naked to everybody. Or maybe she has like a special fabric on her costume that just goes invisible with her. I don't know.
You know what, to be fair, Eraserhead could wrap her up in those bandages things and then hit her.
True. Also, Matt, how the fuck can you say that Neon Genesis Evangelion's fan base is not toxic?
Mainly because it died out for the longest time.
Oh, but it's still around.
At least went dormant. Like, it is starting to come back again. Because, like, now people are like, let's give Evangelion a second look.
Well, like a fourth look at this point.
True.
I mean, the show ended years and years and years ago now. But then they do like a remake, and then people are like, well, but the original is perfect, so you can't do any better than the original. So whatever they make, it's going to be a remake. It's automatically going to be worse than the original. It's like, what the fuck? Like, okay, so Neon Genesis Evangelion's fan base is so toxic that when people tried to revive the show, they said, don't. Fuck you. Like, that's what they did. Like, people are like, hey, you know this show you really like? Well, originally there was a lot of problems and budget cuts and extending frames too long to meet the 23-minute mark. There was a lot of things that we were doing that was didn't really optimize the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of revamp, and we're going to try and do it the right way. And people are like, it was done perfect the first time.
Oh, you know, Jason brings up a good one. Akira's fan base. I'm going to say this. Eventually I'm going to start doing like reviewing older movies on my movie rambles. One of them is going to be Akira. I fucking hate Akira, the movie.
When you go back and you watch Akira, you start to realize that
it's fucking nonsensical.
And the reason why is because the original like giant manga it was made from was like it had to be cut in half. Yeah, it was like it had to be like cut into like a quarter of its original length in order to make it fit into one movie. So like,
and that original length wasn't even like the finished product.
Yeah,
like they had to completely bullshit the entire end because like in the manga, like Akira like is a more present character. Like Akira plays a bigger fucking story, and like the ending does not go anywhere. I mean, there's certain elements that are kind of borrowed from the movie, but like it's way more drawn out.
I mean, it is more drawn out, and honestly, like, okay, so Akira himself in the actual movie doesn't really make that much of an appearance. Like it does feel like we're skipping over his parts a lot.
Akira even have lines?
No, he has lines. It's just very few and far between, and they're really badly acted, just like all the other people. Like the dubbing is absolutely dog shit.
Also, the other thing in the movie, it makes the fucking like I don't know if this was intentional or unintentional. It makes the general seem like the good guy.
Yeah, it does. It unintentionally comes off like a sort of like pro-military industrial complex movie. It's like, yeah, these guys are actually good.
It's like he was kind of more of a flat-out villain. Well, it's more complicated, but it's like he really wasn't the hero in the end.
Yeah, not supposed to be anyway.
Like in the movie, you kind of like in the movie, you kind of was like, I see where he's coming from here.
Now, I mean, to be fair,
where in the fucking book, he's just like a raven fucking military fascist guy.
To be fair though, Akira sort of occupies the same spot that Neon Genesis does, in that I don't like these things, but undeniably they influenced a lot of anime post.
Yeah, Akira looks good and has a lot of great shots in it. Like the big problem with Akira is the story.
Mm-hmm. Because the story is very much gutted in the first place.
Like I've always said it, I would love if like Studio Madhouse or Bones or fucking anyone would do like an Akira series.
Now, it came up. Now, Akira came up because we were talking about potentially toxic anime fan bases, and I don't think Akira's fan base is really all that toxic, because the thing is, most of the people who
they're more snobbish thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's to a lesser extent, it's the same way with Neon Genesis, but their snobbery was basically in the same way. It was like got extended to "Don't remake this or we'll kill you," like, or at least that's the attitude that they had. But with Akira, it's more like, oh,
the Sailor Moon
anime thing. Really, that was my first anime movie I've ever watched. I'm so cool and hipster. Like that's kind of Akira's fan base.
Sailor Moon fans are pretty chill.
Yeah, I think it's because they all sort of look at each other and they're like, we all know why we like this, because it's stupid.
Dragon Ball fans are also fairly chill too. Like there was a point, like especially in the early days of the internet, like with the power scaling bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's really died down because people are like, you know what, power scales, like power levels are dumb. Like they were probably the worst thing to happen to Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
they were the worst thing to happen to Dragon Ball, but that doesn't stop the fact that they have that groundwork that they put forward for power levels and how much more powerful Super Saiyan makes people than everybody the fuck else really is very much undercut by recent Dragon Ball Z Super episodes. Or really most of the Dragon Ball Z Super episodes. Because for some reason, everybody's just basically about as strong as Goku now, except Tien and Master Roshi.
Yeah.
But
like you see the shit with Jiren now is like the theory is Jiren is supposed to be Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason you never see Jiren physically train and shit is Jiren is as strong as he needs to be, like Superman is. So Jiren, it's why Jiren can't fight multiple people at once, because he basically adjusts his power level stronger fighting.
Wait, how would that exclude him from fighting multiple people? You just have to scale to the highest of those.
Well, because he basically he you know, people and shit.
I didn't hear most of that.
You go up against somebody like with too high of a power level, because like again with power level, and it introduced like fucked up shit where it's like wait, Master Roshi blew up the moon, so like somebody with like a power level of 150 could blow up the moon. Seems a little low to blow up a moon.
Especially since that's only about.
Then again, the Kamehameha wave is like it's like a dumb move where it's like, oh, the Kamehameha wave is actually like. That's the other thing that fucking ruined shit was multipliers.
Especially since that's only 30 times stronger than your average person with a gun.
Yeah.
Average farmer with a gun, power level 5.
Does the gun count? I'm not sure the gun.
That's like one of the biggest debates in the Dragon Ball fandom.
Is whether or not the gun counts.
But I mean, like, it would be a bit weird.
Here's my thing with it. I don't think the gun counts, because like, why would the scouter pick up a gun?
Yeah, because scouters and power levels are supposed to be based off of your spiritual energy, right?
Yeah, it's your physical body and your...
Like, I could get it, like, with the Frieza goons who use, like, the shooty things. Because, like, they're shooting energy. Like, a gun's not, like, a shotgun isn't energy, it's kinetic.
But, I mean, for all we know, those, like, energy pistols could be tapping into them. It could just be a way to...
Yeah, because the way those pistols are set up, it's like, they're, like, mounted on their hands. So
yeah.
Like, it could basically just be like a guiding device for their actual energy balls.
Which would actually be pretty cool. I can see Frieza doing Frieza's force having something like that.
I always took that as like those were the races that couldn't like shoot energy, but they could fly and shit.
I don't think so, because if you remember Gohan's training with Videl, when he was training her how to fly, the main thing that he taught her first is like, before you're able to fly, you need to be able to do this. And he's channeled energy into his hands. He's like, you got to be able to do that, because if you can't do that, you can't fly. So
maybe the flying is like an more innate thing with those races.
They don't have wings or anything. Like, how?
Maybe it's like, oh, I can affect gravitons. That's the ticket.
If you can do that, you don't need to learn how to shoot lasers. You have a much more powerful...
Oh yeah, Lundy, speaking of romance anime, I watched My Love Story.
Okay.
Oh, I loved it.
Did you check out Gamers yet?
It was so fucking... I think...
Okay.
Not yet. I need to.
They do.
I love My Love Story, because it's like, this is like 13 episodes.
It's adorable, isn't it?
It is. Like, I really love like that just giant oaf of a main character.
Does he remind you of you a little bit, Matt?
Hug him a lot and just be like, look, buddy. Oh yeah, it's like, look, buddy, it's not your fault. You're a really good guy. Punch that fucking Baker dude. Like, he's a piece of shit.
So before you watch Gamers, I want to give you a little bit of a warning, because a lot of people are kind of put off by the immense amount of like sitcom-y misunderstandings that go on throughout the series. But there are two main factors to take into account when you see this shit happening. One of which is the Japanese cultural thing, and the other of which is the fact that they're gamers. Like, and not gamers.
Somebody yell for me.
And when I say that they're gamers, I don't mean like, hey, these are people who play video games. I mean, these are people who spend about most of their day that isn't school playing video games. Like, the arcade.
Hardcore.
Yeah, they're very hardcore. Hell, the main lead girl is president of a video game club where everyone in the club is like a fucking tournament player in their respective genres. Like there's a puzzle guy, there's a fighting game girl, there's an FPS dude, and they're just like, we win tournaments. It's how we fund our fucking club. And it's like, oh, you play tournaments, all right. But none of those people outside of the main girl are actually like main characters. It's kind of the funny thing to me. The other people who are kind of like in the show are just kind of just passionate about games. Like the main dude.
That's an odd choice.
well, because the show's not really about video games. I know it's called Gamers, but it's not about video games. It's about people who are socially awkward trying to navigate, essentially, and trying to like be friends and not be weird with each other. And they fail at it a lot. It's actually kind of charming in that aspect to me. Fucking the main dude and one of the girls who's in the main cast, they end up getting into a fight because the main dude is just like, okay, so how do you feel about moe characters, i.e. cutesy/sexy characters in games? And the girl's like, I think that's stupid. I prefer a character's character to come forward from their art. And if the only thing that I'm getting from your art is just, ooh, I wear scantily clad clothing and that's it. Like, if that's all I'm getting, then it's stupid. So they end up getting into a huge fight about this and essentially agree with each other that each other are the worst person ever. Because they can't agree on this. Like, it's the one thing they can't agree on. They agree on everything else as far as games are concerned, but that's the one thing they don't agree on. They're just like, well, you're a terrible person and I hate you. Yeah, I hate you too. So it's fucking awkward. And like the other dude in the show, because there's two dudes and there's three girls. The other dude in the show is like watching this happen. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, his mind is blown by this, because this guy, his sort of story is that he used to be a big nerd and nobody talked to him, and he just spent all of his time in an arcade. He was really good at games, but everybody was like, oh, that guy's a fucking weirdo. So he decided he didn't want to be the weirdo anymore. So he got a new haircut, he got a new clothing style, he trained himself to talk and walk and act like a cool guy. And that was like over a summer break or something along those lines. So when he comes back to school, he's this cool guy now, and he gets friends. He even gets a girlfriend. I was waiting for you to come back, Matt. So anyway, what I was saying when before you left was the two things to understand going into the show that makes it make a lot more sense is, one, all of the characters are really socially awkward as a result of the fact that they have very little actual social contact outside of playing video games. And the other one, the Japanese cultural thing, is that in Japan, now it's not as bad these days as it used to be, but in Japan, there used to be this major taboo of guys and girls hanging out in any way if they're not dating. Like, you just didn't see it. It wasn't okay if you were hanging out with a girl that you had to have been dating her, because if you weren't, then like, what are you doing? This is very creepy. So that would also be why, like, if an adult male and like a female who's not an adult are like in any way hanging out together, even if it's less like 19 versus 16. If they're anyway hanging out together, or if they're just near each other, or they enjoy the same thing, like they're at a restaurant or something, I don't know. But regardless, if that were to happen, it would be seen as basically the adult trying to hit on the 16-year-old. By default, there would be no way that anything else could be happening. So, like I said, it's not that bad these days as far as Japan's concerned. They're a little bit less stringent on this. Though, side note, because of that taboo, that's why you see a lot of like sibling love shit in anime, if you know what I mean. Because siblings, Yeah, siblings would basically be your only extended contact with the opposite sex.
That sounds healthy.
Yeah, it's not the greatest way. So eventually, people just sort of grew fetishes because the only girl I know was my sister. So, and they're like fucking 18. So it would be weird like that. That's kind of why that happened, because there's a lot of repression in Japan. But anyway, as a result of this sort of like weird taboo, that will cause a lot of misunderstandings if a dude is out with a girl in any way. You'll just naturally presume that they're dating. They have to be. There's no other reason that they would be out. You can't just be friends with a girl if you're a guy. It's just doesn't make sense culturally over there. So that's sort of the source of a lot of misunderstandings that happen in the show. And a lot of people who watch it are like, I'm getting really annoyed with all these misunderstandings that could be cleared up in one good conversation. It's like, well, they can't really talk that well because they're not good at talking to each other in the first place. And
Egyptian, I think you're thinking of No Game, No Life. But to be fair, they lampshade the incest stuff in that.
Yeah,
there's still a lot of weird, creepy fan service in it.
I mean, No Game, No Life isn't like what the hell is that one? Bun to the Vampire Dale or something like that? Is that what it's called?
Like No Game, No Life makes no pretense about it being just like, we're a schlocky trash anime.
Yeah, imagine No Game, No Life is basically a modern day exploitation show. That they are aware that that's what they are, and they're okay with that. But yeah, it's the show that I'm talking about. The show that I'm talking about is just gamers. It's just gamers with an exclamation point next to it. That's it. That's what it's called. I like it. I think it's adorable. I think all the characters are really funny. I love the opening. Fucking Matt knows about the opening as well because we both watched Mother's Basement. It's really fucking good. It's so recent.
One of the best parts about anime are the openings.
So it's like 80s, 80s cartoons, 80s and 90s.
Well, no, here's the thing. Like they still are like of the same quality. Unlike like it's not a complete lie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like those cartoons, like Thundercats.
Yeah,
Thundercats is one of the biggest lies of my fucking childhood.
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are go. It's like fucking.
Like Thundercats is legitimately, in my opinion, as big of a lie as Santa Claus to me.
Yeah. You get through the fucking opening of Thundercats, and then they just kind of all be standing around talking about what they're gonna have for breakfast.
Like, I remember the first time I saw Thundercats, I was like, "Oh man, this looks like it's gonna be so fucking cool," and then I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" They're just standing there.
It's sort of like the X-Men cartoon.
Hey, dudes.
What up?
Hey, the Bard.
Hello.
You remember the X-Men cartoon, Matt? That opening?
That was fucking great.
Yeah. Probably one of the greatest openings ever.
Yeah.
At the time, second
the Japanese opening. The Japanese opening, both of the Japanese openings blow the American opening out of the water.
Is it the same music, though? Because the music is what makes it.
Yeah.
No, it's like it's also Japanese rock music. It's great.
I'll be honest here.
The second opening is way more anime. It has like the most anime opening shot ever. It's Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Wolverine, and they're on top of some like weird mountain, and they're all looking in different directions.
It's like why would they ever be doing this? Why?
Yeah, it's like I've seen that in so many like 80s and 90s anime series openings where it's like, why are they just standing there not looking at me? Did they just go up to this mountain to just sulk? And they were like, ah, shit, you're up here too? We need to schedule our sulking time.
Don't look at me. I'm trying to sulk. Fine, look in that direction.
Get away from me. I'm brooding.
There's actually a really fun parallel, though, when it comes to 80s culture over here in America and 80s culture over in Japan.
He-Man and She-Ra were campy and fun.
There were
Thundercats took itself way too seriously.
Yeah, it did. It felt like it was trying to be everything to everybody. Like it was trying to be a family show while also being like cool for the teenagers or something. Like I don't know. I didn't know what direction they were trying to go with Thundercats. But so the 80s over here is very much paralleled by a lot of anime that you find from the 80s over in Japan. Actually, fun thing about 80s Japanese anime is that a lot of it is basically just trying to do stuff that we were doing at the time. Just like there would be a lot of sci-fi stuff where they're trying to basically kind of do Star Wars, but not.
Also, with like people
from it.
When people think of like anime characters, they think of like very slender, like bright haired colors and shit. But like in a lot of 80s anime, it was like, no, it's like they were based off of like American like movies and Western movies, like Fist of the North Star. Like Kenshiro is built like a brick shit house.
Yeah, like every dude
looking like anime characters then, because I don't like anime. I don't watch any of it.
It kind of goes full circle. It kind of goes full circle. Like if you go to the earliest anime stuff, it's very much influenced by the original Walt Disney animations,
like Disney and rubber hose cartoons.
So that's where you get like your big eyes, your like huge expressive eyes that is like kind of like a staple of anime art. That's also where you get the sort of like cartoonishly small figures and the like. But they tried to advance past that a little bit, or at least build on it, I guess is probably a better way to phrase it. If you go back and you look at Astro Boy, like original Astro Boy shit. Astro Boy himself kind of basically just looked like Mickey Mouse without the ears and with skin. That's kind of but everybody else in the show, they tried to do something with. They tried to make actual character designs with. Now everybody was still cartoonishly small, so you could fit them all into one shot. But it was still something that could be done, and that's kind of where we get the idea. I would say that's probably the origination of chibis, or the chibi art style, I guess, is that they were all very small and compact, and it was very cute looking. It would also advance from there into being normally very skinny, and normally just not a lot going on in the body, so that there's much less to animate was essentially the point. Because animation's difficult, especially when they're not using actual like
and expensive.
People. Like Walt Disney would use people to animate around, especially like even in Alice in Wonderland. Alice was a person that was animated.
Yeah.
So, but Japan.
It's actually funny. There was a video I saw earlier today where they were pointing out like with the classic Disney movies, like here's all of the recycled animation from the classic Disney movies. Like here's where Maid Marian from Robin Hood is doing the exact same movements as Snow White and Sleeping Beauty and Elsa. Like they're still using recycled animation, Disney anime, because like Lundy said, they actually use like living people and shit. Like they use
it now. At this point, they may have
it's easier and cheaper.
Well, that's what they did. They basically just took what they had. They just took what they had and they just fed it into the computer, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so
it's
now
all about
like a lot of the computer algorithms are based off of those. Yeah, because it's like this is how Disney movies should look. These are how like Disney characters should move and stuff.
It's all about cutting corners and trying to have one consistent art style while not putting as much work as possible into it, because animation is expensive and a long and arduous process. It's also why we get a lot of anime today to continue on to the answer to why we have these skinny, like everybody kind of has the same body type anime characters these days. When we moved on from the 80s and Japan was back into its swing of trying to do its own thing and not copy what America was doing too terribly much, or no, I wouldn't even say America, but the West in general. They were trying to basically just make as much shit as possible. So every manga writer, and they're still doing it today, every person who has a wild hair up their ass and is able to draw a goddamn character at all, like if you're making a manga and you have even the slightest idea as to where it's going, people are like, hey, do you think we can get that animated? Or do you think we can do that? Do you think you can produce this fast enough that we can make a show out of it? Like that's it. It's the animation industry in Japan is fucking insane, and they work everyone to basically death. So this cutting corners mentality is sort of just bog standard in most of the animation studios because everybody's working like 70 hours a fucking week trying to get these shows made. So what they'll do, and there's actually a few different techniques that they'll do to try and make character models in such a way that it's easy to animate them. One is to make every dude basically the same skinny guy who doesn't really have much in the arms, doesn't really have much in the legs, always wearing something so that you don't have to worry about like what their muscle mass looks like in any way. Usually long sleeves, with the exception of whenever they do a fucking, beach episode or a hot tub episode or whatever. Another thing that they'll do is they'll make all the faces somewhat similar. Like for a lot of characters today, if you take the hair away entirely and you don't look at eye color, a lot of faces are basically the same.
That's what happens when you went, because in the style they only have 3-4 facial features at most.
Mostly.
Yeah,
and a lot of that,
I don't know how long I've been muted.
Yeah, for a while apparently.
But like I was gonna say, Boku no Hero, like all the characters have different eyes. You can literally just like show a character's eyes to a fan, and they'll be like, "That's fucking Deku's."
Yeah, that's Bakugo, right?
That's Todoroki.
That's an advantage that has. But I'm talking about sort of like this mass-produced sort of anime. So, and I think another thing that they do to try and cut corners is, have you ever noticed in Sword Art Online, for instance, have you ever noticed when Kirito's mouth is closed, it's in two separate spots on his face? Like there's a line in between his mouth going down that makes it into two separate line segments. They do that a lot with characters' mouths because it makes it a lot easier to animate the lip flaps in there, essentially. But when you look at it and you actually like take a look at it, it looks fucking freaky and weird. Like that's why they try not to have characters close their mouths too much. So in a strange way, you end up getting all these different animations of people who are just kind of standing around looking at something with their mouths wide open, going, and looking like they're in awe of whatever's going on. So that they don't have their mouths closed, and you're like, why do you have two separate mouths on your face? Like,
that explains all the weird fucking noises they make as well. Because you've got to give them a reason to have their mouths open, I guess.
They don't need to have, so long as they have their mouths open, you're not seeing the fact that they don't actually have a mouth. Essentially. So and I'm sure there's a lot more other stuff that I'm not picking up on too much. Sometimes they'll another thing is sometimes they'll just throw in 3D animation for no fucking reason, just in the background.
That never fits in there.
Yeah, it never fits right. It'll be used for like a background, but then the background looks weird with the 2D animated characters on it. And or they'll have like background people they're not characters and you'll never meet them. They're just people to make it look like there's people around. But they all look fucking they're not animated at all. They're like walking like stick figures. They don't have knees, they don't have elbows. They're just they're basically like fucking, I don't know, crash test dummies essentially.
Just moving shapes.
Yeah, just
it's like that joke in Family Guy when they're in a courtroom and he says, "Are these even people? Only half of them seem to blink."
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like that. And it's not entirely like something to blame them on, because like I said, they work 70 hours a week, many of these animation companies, just to try and pump out show after show after show, just to keep the animation industry booming and alive.
Oh yeah, and then you have to look at the difference between the company and the production team, because the production team just has to do what the fuck they're told.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, animators don't get paid enough. Like it's borderline slave labor what they do to animators over there. I swear to God. Like animators will regularly try to kill themselves. Is how bad it gets. Like
welcome to Japan in general. In that case.
Yeah, I guess so.
I had a friend who lived there, and well, as for not fitting in Japan, she's a 6'1" black woman.
Mm-hmm.
She would be out in public, and people would use her as a landmark to meet by.
Excuse me, would you mind staying here for about 5 minutes? We're gonna meet back at you.
Well, people didn't. She was there teaching English, and people didn't realize she was fluent in Japanese. So she'd just hear, like, yeah, I'll meet you by the black giant.
Oh my God.
And she just looked at him like, I will break you, little Japanese man. Don't try me.
Well, I mean, Japan doesn't have much experience with black people. Look no further than most anime that exists. Like they've been getting a little bit better in that, in representing like people of color, but oh my God, fucking. I don't even know how to explain it, but like having a black person in an anime who is not a side character that's basically just kind of jokey because, oh, look at them, they look so weird. Like that's a very rare thing. Like you got Dutch.
Hey, we got a toxic Gundam fan in here.
Do we?
Yeah.
Dig, trio.
Hey, Skull, we were shit talking to the Gundam fan base a while back.
Not really.
I don't watch anime, so I've got no idea what the fuck these people are talking about.
To be perfectly honest,
you know where I think the skinny style really came from?
To argue
like, where kind of the patient zero
anime's being toxic.
I think it was like the rise in popularity of the delinquent anime in like in the late 80s.
Yeah, possibly. Honestly, though, when it comes to like toxic,
like those were really focused on teenagers, so it's like, well, everybody can't be like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. When it comes to like toxic fan bases, though, when you think about it, a lot of it is just people who are just purists about whatever it is that they enjoy. That's mainly where the toxicity comes from. Like you have to enjoy it the way that I enjoy it, or you're not enjoying it right. Like that's
hey, all hell.
Everyone is a fanboy over something. All of us. It's just trying to learn to control it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I've always said, like everybody's a nerd about something.
You'll become the master
like
once you can harness it. Your power of fanboyism.
Have you ever actually been to a fantasy football party?
No.
I have. It basically just looks like D&D.
Yeah, I was about to say, would I be into it?
Yeah, it's just like they have character sheets and shit. It's a fucking role-playing game.
That's what I fucking realize it. Like I brought that up, like nerd, like I remember in high school, like jocks were picking on me and shit, and I was like, you fuckers can rattle off the stats for like games that happened like 20 years ago, and you're picking on me for knowing like what issue Captain America fought like Richard Nixon.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, would we have a dick move if I went to one of these parties with a literal character sheet and like funny side dives?
That actually reminds me of
pictures.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a fairly recent Adam Ruins Everything episode where one of the segments was about the alpha male idea. And he was going over the idea that, like, depending on the context of what social situation you're in, you could be the most predominant person in the room in one situation, or you could be the biggest loser in the room in another situation. And he took like this caricature of like your typical dude bro jock guy going, yeah, man, I'm big man and I fucking drink millions a day. He took that guy and he like popped him into a D&D session. And And he's just like, and the DMs in the session's like, what do you gotta do? And the guy's like, I'll swing my sword, I guess. And they're like, you don't have a sword, you're a wizard. What are you doing? Do you see a sword
right,
in your
inventory?
Your
douchebag.
Oh fuck. I love that image in my head of some like giant dude going into like actually trying to play D&D with a bunch of people who are like stereotypically nerds.
And then the nerds rip his flesh off and eat him.
And gain his power and knowledge.
And then they eat his heart to gain his strength.
Yeah, let's say to hopefully gain his alpha maleness.
They will become super nerds.
That's speaking of something that like became awfully toxic. Like I remember three different like times in my life with like nerd and geek culture where it's like I remember being on the ass end where it was like, oh, you're a nerd, you're a geek, what a loser. That sweet period where it's like, oh, you're a nerd, you're a geek, that's really interesting. And that was like maybe a year and a half time period in like the mid 2000s, and now it's like, oh, you're a nerd and a geek, so you must be a Nazi.
It's the whole geek chic.
Are you a geek?
Like Big Bang started.
God, Big Bang Theory is so. My fucking mother loves Big Bang Theory. I found out she watches it every single night before she goes to bed.
My problem is that I don't doubt that if any normal, rational human being were left in a room with any of these people, with the possible exception of Leonard, they would strangle the motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, all of them.
And they would be entirely justified.
I'd murder Sheldon in a heartbeat. I'd be like, hey, what's that over there? And I'd just pick up the coffee table and just
and he goes,
like,
why? Social Darwinism, motherfucker.
Social Darwinism wasn't a predominant theory among any scientific field. Shut the fuck up!
Shut up!
Beating the death of a chair, you're hearing Bazinga over and over again. And hitting
mate, who's the Indian guy? Like, I'd probably give him a pass.
Raj.
Well, isn't he like the more normal-ish of the fucking nerds?
Apparently, his inception was that like the only weird thing about him was that he couldn't talk to girls like unless he was drunk. I guess at some point, fucking he learned to just get over that. I don't know how, but it happened.
Or the writers forgot.
Probably.
Also, to quickly point out, because this mental image was fucking hilarious in my head, is if fucking the alt-right does form up into an actual Nazi regime and a coup happens because fucking one group doesn't favor a waifu. And it's an argument of waifus.
Watch that video, the adorkable misogyny.
You know,
that was a good video.
There's a mental image in my head now that I wish would exist. I just want to see Napalm dressed up in a Flash costume beating the shit out of Sheldon Cooper with a coffee table.
He wouldn't be in a Flash costume. That's DC. What do you think Napalm is?
Yeah.
It's because in the show they established that the Flash was his favorite character, and I want to see something he loves kill him.
To be fair, that's pretty fair logic.
It should be like the worst Flash costume too, so it's even a good one.
It's just a fucking red shirt and red pants with a fucking like crudely drawn Sharpie of a lightning bolt on the chest. You don't even have a mask on.
Oh my god! Okay, so this actually reminds me of something. So when my sister was dating Sean, I don't want to say his last name, but he was in a band and he was like a huge nerd. And we would go to like comic book conventions and shops and all kinds of shit. One time we went to a comic book convention and there was this fat fucker who was dressed up as the Flash and he had like a spray on fucking like 6-pack on his fucking thing. And
six-pack.
Looking at that, you could immediately tell it's like that was made for a smaller person and he's just like, fuck it.
The thing is, wouldn't you have so much more respect for the dude if he just turned up and what he dressed as like like I'm middle-aged Flash, or just I'm fat Flash.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
maybe,
why
I'd be
would
way
Flash
more
be
okay
fat?
with that.
Like, because
I'd be
I can.
yeah, all right, that makes sense actually.
Like,
That
I used to be
pretty
really,
funny.
I used to be really into steampunk, and
There's very few.
I still like certain parts of it. But the moment I kind of wanted to step away from steampunk is when I saw someone cosplaying a steampunk Pikachu.
Wait, how would that even work?
I don't know. There's no electricity. That's the point of the concept.
Why not steampunk? Why not steampunk Squirtle or Charmander?
That would make sense because heat and hydro, but not the one fucking generates electricity.
Steampunk Blastoise.
Hell, a steampunk steel type.
I'm just
Why
gonna.
not steampunk Scizor? A steampunk Scizor could be very fucking badass.
Steampunk Steelix.
Metagross.
I'm just gonna point out when it comes to
steampunk
steampunk.
Steelix and Metagross.
Steampunk seems to be like one of those weird genres that no matter what convention you go to, there's always at least one booth somewhere about steampunk. And it doesn't depend on what the convention is, as long as it's still nerdy. It's happened to me every time.
Well, some of it's pretty cool. Like, do any of you know the band Steam Powered Giraffe?
Oh, I love that.
No, but I know
so
the cog.
much.
The cog is dead. I think that's the name.
I love Steam Powered Giraffe
Like the
so
problem with
goddamn
me
much.
is I refuse to shave my beard for cosplay, so there's very few characters.
Matt, Steam
No,
Powered
no,
Giraffe.
you could still be middle-aged Flash. He just stopped shaving.
Matt, Steam Powered Giraffe has a new third in their band who has a beard. He's not shaving it. And he's big and he's fat, and I think you would love him.
Okay, I could maybe cosplay it. So, also, Fat Jon Snow, because people keep saying I look like Jon Snow.
If he was like really big.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? I thought that. I hadn't watched any of your videos for a while, then came back and resubscribed because it took me ages to find a new channel.
He finally learned something.
Yeah, I looked like, oh fuck, he does look like a fat Jon Snow.
So, out of curiosity,
But on the bright side, you don't pull the fucking kick puppy walk all the time.
Also, like, pretty much a lot of wrestlers from the 80s. Bruiser Brody.
Jemshin has a point. Matt, you could cosplay as Hagrid.
Yeah, Hagrid.
Mankind.
I'm not really that tall.
Actually, pretty much anything Mick Foley did.
I'm like
Cactus
average
Jack.
height.
Oh, Matt, I have a comedian for you to look up. I don't know if you've ever seen him before. His name is K. Trevor Wilson. You just need to listen to him because I think you would very much appreciate him.
You guys should try Ross Noble.
Yeah.
So what's so toxic about the Gundam fan base? Because I'm kind of curious.
Well, there's a lot of purity that goes on in the Gundam fan base. Like if you don't, okay, so it's not that this is indicative of the entirety of the fan base, because like every fan base, there's the majority of people who are normal, and then there's the other people who are like fucking wackadoo. And the wackadoo things that I've seen in the Gundam fan base anyway is when you can't readily identify what generation Gundam a particular model is when you're talking to someone and they're showing it to you, like, yeah, it's got this. It's like, oh, it's like the original one, right? No, this is like third generation. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you not understand? Have you never seen the goddamn show? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's.
But anyone who knows less than me is an idiot. Anyone who knows more is a know-it-all.
Exactly.
Okay. I was more wondering if you're exactly talking about the models, like the machines within the show, or you're more talking about Gunpla models. Because when you said generation of models, like, wait, is he talking about Gunpla?
Yeah. Essentially.
Okay. No, I can understand that being an issue. I also know that Gundam fans this might go to your purist comment, but the entire Universal Century and all the Air Centuries are shit. That usually is an argument I see a lot from other people.
You're not allowed to like them if you do.
Yeah,
you're not a real fan.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really hard for Americans because, like, you know, all Americans, when Gundam came over, they were exposed to Gundam Wing, which is not a Universal Century Gundam series, and that's kind of where it all started for over here in America. So, yeah. Okay.
I think pretty much the only... Well, I liked Pokemon as a kid, but I grew up in the 90s, so everyone did. But I think pretty much the only one I like is Helsing, to be honest.
Hellsing or Hellsing Ultimate?
I like both, but I prefer Ultimate.
Yeah, I prefer Ultimate as well. I mean,
But
I know people who prefer the other one.
Hellsing.
I know.
Life.
Okay, Matt's like, oh, fucking. What's his name? I don't even remember. Incognito's the best villain. Like, fuck you, Matt.
Incognito's a better villain than Major. Fuck you, Lundy.
No, he's not. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Plus, the Major wasn't even the main villain, Matt.
What if I start? That doesn't. When someone not being the main villain does not mean that they're not the best villain. That often happens.
Also, the reveal of Major, I still feel is kind of dumb, personally.
The fact that he's a robot.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning, I guess. Well, I thought it was kind of neat because it explained the fact that he was still as young as he was without being a fucking vampire, even though he looked exactly like he did back in the 1940s. And I think the Major is the only one that you can say is like a true Nazi in that show. Like, he really believed in the Nazi cause. And as a result, to me, the way it comes off is he said, look,
did he really believe in the Nazi cause, or did he just had a hate boner for war? Like, he was
I think that's what he projected the Nazi cause onto, is the thing. Is that I think that when he looked at what Nazism was and he saw that as soon as the Nazis got to power,
I never thought of that.
Started.
I could totally cosplay as the Ox King. That'd be a cool costume too.
Yeah.
I feel like as soon as the Nazis got to power and they started to just immediately attack everybody, that's just what he associated with what it meant to be a Nazi. And then all the other stuff was sort of secondary. But I think the fact that he wouldn't allow himself to be turned into a vampire, but instead he had a robot made of himself that would merely be able to continue on with his work, is sort of this idea of being the pure Nazi out of all of them. I think that's kind of what the point was of it.
Yeah, I think that was far more a matter of ego than it was any kind of ideas about racial purity, though. He didn't want to lose himself to being a vampire. Plus the whole thing about if you've already had sex, you're kind of a sucky vampire.
Yeah.
Jack, real quickly.
Well, do you think the Major had sex?
That's what I'm saying.
Look at that guy.
He got laid, so...
Do you think he really did? Look at him.
Well,
here's my thing with the Major.
Yeah, but any man in a position of power.
It'd be a position of power and enough charisma.
I think he was like the protagonist from like a shonen anime.
I don't think he had
he's like war is what turns me on.
Yeah, he's not
just being the Shaman King is what turned the Shaman King kid on.
Like, he could have women in his unit, but he would never do anything with them because he's much more interested in watching them kill people. That's also, what gives him a boner.
Not only did he have women, Schrodinger.
Yeah, true. And Schrodinger, I swear, Schrodinger was just like this weird attempt to just make just a little boy that was adorable and cute, and you wanted to have sex with him in a strange way. Like, that was the point of Schrodinger.
Well, no, they say it Alucard says it himself in Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. It's like, the return of the Y boner.
Exactly.
The one thing I do like about Schrodinger is literally anytime anyone says there's no cute cat boys, you can pull him up. It's like, there you go. And people get annoyed with you.
Plus, I love the fact.
Oh no, the one other anime I liked, but no fuckers ever watched it when I mention it, is Escaflowne.
Yeah. Matt, what's your problem?
I remember watching Escaflowne on Fox Kids, and it just tainted the series.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
a romantic
Fox Kids basically
drama
was like, hey, we're gonna take everything that's cool about Escaflowne, and we're gonna take that out because
also we're gonna make like the fucking like the boring ass like resistance leader guy the main character
for no reason.
The fucking girl's the main character.
A romantic drama hiding as a mecha anime.
Welcome to anime.
I'll admit, I like that.
In its original incarnation was very good.
That armor is badass.
Well, I saw like 2 episodes of the Fox Kids version as a kid and remembered it fondly. And then when it came to download it as an adult, it's like, there's the adult version or the kids version, like adult version. Oh, this is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's way better. You should actually do yourself a favor and go back and watch the kids version now that you have watched the adult version. So you can just see all the shit that they cut out, all the things that they edited together to just change how scenes worked.
Oh yeah, some of it I don't remember. Like, I saw the last episode and I remember there was nothing about the weird gender-bent brother-sister whose name I can't remember. And then the last episode of the kids version, what I assumed was a he just takes something hidden from under their hair off and all of a sudden it's long hair and they go, like, wait, what? That's a girl? What the fuck? Wait, what?
That reminds me of
Why?
That reminds me of Matt's introduction to Cowboy Bebop. Oh my god! Because Matt.
Yeah. So.
Tell the story.
So, the first episodes of Cowboy Bebop I ever watched were I just bought a random like VHS of Cowboy Bebop. Because on the back of it, it said it had nudity in it, and I was a 13-year-old boy, and I was like, "Hot damn, nudity!" And I don't have to be 18 to buy it. So it doesn't end there. So the 2 episodes on the VHS were the one with like the rotted food that turns into like the weird alien thing. The other episode was with the dude with the boobs.
And that was the nudity, wasn't it?
Yes.
Poor,
that made me go like,
pubescent Matt.
Why do I have, like, what? I wasn't expecting this. Questions.
The most confused 13-year-old boner.
Also, just to quickly point out, if that's your introduction to Cowboy Bebop, which is the fucking those 2 episodes, that had to be a very interesting image of what Cowboy Bebop was.
Yeah, it's like those are among the weirder episodes.
Exactly.
If that's what you thought it was supposed to be, the whole show running, what the fuck? You must have been fucking going crazy when you actually saw it. Like, when are they gonna do the weird shit?
I'm gonna head off. I'm falling asleep here. Not because of you, just because it's the middle of the night. So, see ya.
I see you
later.
I did.
But yeah, so. I also remember I got like some weird nurse crap anime.
I don't know.
Also, if anyone wanted to experience bad Gundam anime that's usually regarded as like the best, always watch Stardust Memory.
No, don't.
Because that shit will set your opinion very quickly.
I think Alex is fighting with his connection.
To be honest, Matt,
2 of him.
I think you got off light. You only got stuck watching like 3 episodes?
Because I left. I was like, you know what? I got better shit to do.
And the funny part was how you came in like less than 5 minutes. You're like, oh yeah, here's the script of this episode because of how fucking badly they're telegraphing it.
I'm glad Gundam's kind of good now.
And there have always been fandoms that you kind of like, but you don't want to be part of just because the rest of everyone who likes it as such fucking weirdos in one way or another.
Look at the Undertale community.
Yep.
Hey, Lundy, we can't hear you if you're talking.
And also, man, I haven't checked with the Gundam fan base in a while. I mean, as far as I know, they might
not. Yeah.
Yeah, they might not think Thunderbolt's good, or as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they don't think Thunderbolt's good, and I'm not sure about what Iron Blood Orphans. I know Thunderbolt's not good because they're actually giving the fucking like Zaku character, like some type of depth, like a little more depth than the enemy characters allowed, and also they pretty much had the Gundam didn't win outright in their first fight. However, I still call bullshit on the fucking wiki calling that a draw.
By the way, has everybody in this call at this point seen Ghost Stories? The English dub specifically.
We know watch anime, so no.
I very much recommend that you do so.
No, I'm trying to come up with a line in my head because it's kind of amazing, but it's just I'm trying.
This is not an anime. It is in the technical sense, but it's not. Let me tell you the story of how Ghost Stories, the English dub, came to be. So, Ghost Stories was a show that was released in Japan, and it got sort of mediocre ratings, and people weren't really impressed with it. It was kind of like a weird attempt at doing Scooby-Doo, and nobody really liked it because all the characters were boring and cliche and whatever. So when the production company came to, I think it was AVD dubbing, a dubbing company that did a lot of shows back in the day, they said, hey, the show didn't do good. And if we want to make our money back on this, we need more people watching this. So whatever you need to do to the script to make it so people will watch this, that's fine. Just make sure that the general story is the same and the names aren't changed. That's it. Everything else is fair game. So AVD looked at this and said, okay. And what they made was essentially, I think it has the right to be called the first actually official abridged anime, wherein every character is changed very much arbitrarily. The character who's supposed to be a psychic who can sense ghosts, she's just a born-again Christian who keeps telling everybody else they're going to go to hell. The nerdy character, he's now just a Jew. That's his
so
joke.
She's a recovering drug addict, nymphomaniac.
They make fucking jokes about his Jewiness too. Like, did you drop a shekel or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, like big nose.
But like it's so incredibly different from how it was originally made as to not even be the same show. But it's so fucking great, and like you just gotta watch it. It's fucking phenomenal. I just, everybody I know, I always say, like, I don't care if you don't watch anime. This has nothing to do with watching anime. This is just a show that has an amazing history as to how it came to be. And I think everyone needs to enjoy how magical it is. Like, there's a fucking scene where a fucking teacher is like standing with a bunch of babies in like a box, a bunch of like fucking rabbit babies in a box, and there's these the kids are all like around him, and he's like,
rabbit babies.
Yeah, yeah, I said rabbit babies. I clarified. And all these kids are around him, and he's like, "Well, I guess now's about as good a time as any to tell you how babies work, kids." So the woman rabbit has this thing called a vagina, and the boy rabbit has this thing called a penis. Now when the boy rabbit puts the penis in the vagina, the woman rabbit starts acting like it belongs to her. Like it's
what?
Exactly. Like, why? Where did this come from? Why is this being said? I don't understand. It's just nothing but random and fucking fourth wall breaking and just fucking hilarious. Like, Ghost Stories is one of the greatest English dubs to ever come out of anywhere.
Come to think of it, there was one other anime that an ex-girlfriend of mine got me to watch a couple episodes of, and I wanted to embrace the sweet release of death. And that was Inuyasha.
You're describing Estrafone to me.
Hey, be mean, Skull. Stop it. This is why I didn't make you a dungeon master in the Discord room.
Oh no! The all-coveted dungeon master.
You know, Lundy, you're saying that mockingly.
I know.
But you're one.
I know.
So Matt, I'm cool being a scrub. I'm a little scrub lord. Ooh.
You know what? I might actually make just
one group, just a group called Scrubs from that's separated from online and offline, and it's just you in it.
Remember when Lundy? Remember
Just changes the
when
title when it's douchebag that no one likes. One group skull.
remember when we did the hate
The
club
Lonesome Scrub Lord.
system?
Yeah, I do remember that. Oh,
Who
God.
got pissed off at us because we put him on the bottom?
Sammy.
No,
Oh, also,
someone else too. Was it Watcher?
I wasn't watching because he was only around for like maybe a couple days, if that.
Nah, he was there for like a week or so. Because remember, he was really lonely, so even though we picked on him and made fun of him, he stuck around.
Yeah. I do remember at one point, like, you guys were trying to just like fuck with me by being like, you know what, you're on the bottom now too. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what did I fucking do?
Yeah, we just started threatening people. Well, it's like, look, if you get out of line, you're going to the bottom tier.
You're gonna be a Sammy. Everyone's like, oh, I don't want to be a Sammy. We were so fucking mean. Oh no.
Actually, something that fucking happened the other day. I had left my computer open, and rather than leaving porn open like I usually do, a friend of mine came in and they saw just like one of Matt's videos paused. And they just went, fuck me, mate. What? It's your dad. Because that's what I'm here for. It's like, Matt, I hate to tell you this, but I am your imperial and therefore superior son. So let's have a smoke.
At some point,
which does also mean that you managed to conceive me at the age of about 6. So well done there. Mum must have been a right slag.
Or it could have been like a few.
Not only did he have to do it, he had
travel.
to like go over to Europe for it.
Like maybe like I smoked some quantum weed.
You're not my father, but you will be. Yeah, okay. Actually, how old are you?
I'm 30. I'm going to be 32 this year.
Yeah.
I was being generous.
I'm old hand. Like, I've been doing this shit for almost 10 years.
Yeah. Matt's seen it all, man.
If I wasn't so high, I forgot the quote from Blade Runner, I'd say what fucking
the guy said.
Daddy said. And I've seen Brett Keane channels go up in flames off of.
I was about to say, I remember watching Matt and Coughlin and being like, who's this new Brett Keane guy? Like
oh, no.
This was like 3 weeks after I'd got a computer.
That's terrible. Matt, he thought you were a new Brett Keane.
No, that was at the same time. Not like he's the new Brett Keane. Fucking hell. Them's fighting words.
Oh no. That's why I was very saddened to hear that. I was like, oh no, Matt's
no, I was watching him and at the same time. There's a comma in there.
I see. Oh fuck. Still.
There you go, Matt.
Mentioning Matt in the same sentence as Brett Keane in general, like regardless, is just like a.
So.
You might as well be fucking just setting him on fire.
Matt on Discord server went Scrub Lord Master is me. start fucking shit talking you in the Discord server.
Look, I remember now where I gotta go. I was so high, I was like, how do I do this again? And then I was like, okay, I remember now. Skull, what's your least favorite color?
Black.
That's a shade.
Yeah. Also, shame on you.
What are you doing, Matt?
Huh?
Nothing at all. Excuse the
nothing at all. Apparently,
to himself.
He's just
yeah.
That's Matt.
I'm way too high. Like I'm fucking this up. I'll get you, Skull. 1 second. just keep talking amongst yourselves. Like,
I'm trying to work the computer while I am high off my ass. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, at least you know that your demotion is more of a struggle, and you're not actually having to do shit.
Well, All Hail is saying that Skull is becoming Scrub. I said there is no becoming. I just am.
I am become Scrub, master of the lords.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Having the fight with my arch nemesis, the Edgelords.
Matt, why must every hangout that we are in end in either Nick drunkenly like going down a spiral,
or not ended?
I don't even know.
Nobody said anything about it ended.
Or this is where we're just going in that direction. It's either Nick being like, man, I'm gonna die someday. Fuck it all. I don't even care. Or it's like you being like, you're not even in the call by the end of your hangouts. You're just kind of like, you might as well be a 97-year-old man.
Wait, I fucked something up. I want everybody to see Skulls.
You know the scary thing? The scary thing is that as bad as Matt is at operating any sort of technology while he's high, he's still basic. Yeah, my sober operating of technology is about as good as him at his.
There you go, Skull. I like them apples.
I did say in all caps, I am the holder of Scrubs.
Scrub holder.
So you're Scrub Lord Prime.
Oh fuck!
See, look, people. If you cause enough rabble rousing among the masses, you'll get your own personal title.
I think did it.
Well, what I need to do now is I need to fucking get the entire chat to rise up and throw down their chains of oppression and attack Matt.
That would be great if this is the
this is the start of Matt's downfall in his own Discord room.
There's like 80 actions.
Scarboard side to fucking side with the edgelords for this entire event.
He makes a martyr out of Skull. It's like, we all must unite. We can't be oppressed this way. And people are like fucking putting in little emoticons for lighters or flames or whatever the fuck while they're trying to hold a vigil for you.
Little pitchfork emoji.
Yeah.
We must seize the memes of production.
The memes of production. Bravo, Skull. Good one.
Oh, fuck.
You just a retreat or something.
I wish I had a fucking
victory lap.
I wish I had a fucking sugar cookie for you, Skull.
This is a test of how high Napalm is. It's just whether he starts trying to mush dog trees through his computer screen.
Well, actually, no, Napalm. If he was like productive while high, I would just get a letter in the mail, and it's literally just like a dried up pizza roll that's been cooked at once upon a time.
Or it's a glove, and it's like, I mailed you a punch, so put this glove on and punch you in the face.
The funny part is, I probably would do it just to humor you.
You'd be like, well, all right. And just take a
picture. You see a picture of me, and like, I have like a horrible swollen black eye. When I said I mailed you a punch, motherfucker, I mailed you a fucking punch.
Just send a leather glove back with a note. I challenge you to a duel, and you're not getting.
You know, I brought this up to Skull before. His state still allows dueling.
I mean, in the technical sense that they're still on the books.
And to be fair, you can only like challenge people to fist fights.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, if I had enough money, I mean, I would totally fucking fund for flintlocks. That should be hilarious. I'm hoping I
don't want to actually die, Skull. Like,
I'm hoping I actually get hit and I survive. That way I can just make moose jokes about me Theodore Roosevelt.
What? Well, Roosevelt wasn't hit by a flintlock.
I know, but everyone likes making the joke about the fucking bull moose.
A bullet can't stop a bull moose.
He came second in that one. I'll give him that.
There's oh, what the fuck? I'm trying to bringing up the idea of dueling with flintlocks. It just reminds me of all the images that I have in my head of people who had the flintlocks and they were dueling with them, but they both missed, so they had to try again, like over and over again, because of how notoriously unreliable they were.
I always liked the idea of them doing that, both missing, and then one just running up to the other and beating with it.
Yeah, it's like, well, I suppose we shall have to reload these. Ah!
We each have a water balloon filled with cold cat piss. That'll be our duel.
No, why cold? No, leave that to warm up in the sun.
Nah, like piss is more awful cold, right? I don't know. Like,
no, it's worse when it's hot, Matt.
I think it depends on how long you leave it to ferment.
Like, I chose cat piss because cat piss is legendarily awful.
Yeah, and
it produces ammonia more than ours, so
it's also extremely difficult to get out.
I just walked in here and turned my headset on to Matt choosing cat piss.
Yeah, that's how me and Skull are going to duel.
Yeah, him and Skull have to duel using water balloons filled with cat piss, and right now we're debating over the merits of whether or not it should be cold or hot cat piss.
And I'm
really hard to get that cat piss. Like, are you?
That's easy, Jim Shin. No, Jim Shin and Nick. That's easy. Instead of like a normal litter box, you have like some kind of like killing floor slough kind of thing.
And what, you just have all the cats in the goddamn neighborhood piss in it?
Yeah, you just have all the cats pee in it, and then you collect the pee and you funnel it into a balloon. Fucking bam!
Easy peasy, man.
Yeah. How are you going to have the water pressure to fill the balloon, though?
With a funnel.
Yeah. A funnel.
Pressure to go against the...
Nick, you don't understand.
With enough piss, you can do anything, okay?
Are you just going to get a really tall Philo and have gravity do the work?
With enough piss, enough gumption, and a funnel, anything's possible. That's how my great-grandpappy was elected as a judge.
And that's also how your great granduncle was kicked out of the country for fucking a goat.
Well,
just like my grandmother used to tell me, enough lubricant you can fit a Cadillac into a doghouse.
He wasn't that close. He was like pre-Civil War. But yeah, like, go fuck her.
Don't you start fucking distancing yourself from your goat fucking ancestor?
I'm not gonna distance myself from my goat fucking ancestor.
Bundy, let's be fair here. Everybody's ancestor here probably fucked a goat.
Yeah, there's probably a goat fucker.
At some point.
At like some point, like there were only like 3 people on the fucking planet.
Wait, what?
2 of them had sex with a goat.
Oh, were they Adam and Eve and like the goat?
At some point there was only 3 people on the planet. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's not Adam and Eve. That's dumb. It's Bob, Eleanor, and Chet.
Which one's the goat?
None of them. Chet found one and named him Steve.
Chet was intersexed.
Actually, you know how the Welsh have a reputation for being sheep shaggers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why that is.
Why?
It's because the penalty for stealing a goat, for stealing a sheep was death, but fucking a sheep was only losing a hand. Someone caught them stealing a sheep. They say, "No, I was just gonna fuck it."
Well, I mean,
so you wouldn't die.
In a way, I can kind of understand the old timey logic on that front, because it's like they didn't recognize animals as like being worth anything other than as property.
Or food. It's like, who wants to eat a fucked goat? That's gross.
So like,
it was only in the 18th century that they confirmed and started to believe that animals could feel pain. So
Yeah, but most people don't even like. They don't construct laws over giving a fuck for the most part. At least not until fairly recently, anyway. Relatively speaking.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot more to worry about then, like peasants revolting.
Yeah.
And the peasants had to worry about starving, so
yeah.
I don't think animal rights was really that high on.
But the big reason why
the people didn't have any rights, so
the big
people didn't have any rights.
The big reason why my good fucking ancestor had to flee was more because he was one of the Scotch-Irish. So the Scottish people who were shipped over to Ireland because the English were like, hey, brilliant idea. What if we just have the Scottish and the Irish kill each other? Let's try that.
In fairness, it worked for a bit.
It worked for a bit, but then the Irish won out and they pretty much kicked out all the Scotch-Irish.
What the fuck?
Sorry, we also conquered Wales because we found out pig fat was explosive.
What pisses me off with a lot of Southern people, like Irish Americans on St. Patrick's Day, is like, you're not descended from actual Irish. You're descended from Scotch-Irish, because that's where the Scotch-Irish went. Like, when they came over to America, they went to, like Virginia and Kentucky and, like, the Carolinas and Georgia. That's where, like, they settled.
You know, the weird thing is, I've been in Ireland on St. Patrick's Day, and Americans make way more of a big fucking deal of it than the Irish do.
Yeah, like,
Americans use it as excuses to get fucking wasted off their asses.
Same with
but that's the thing about
they're alcoholics.
Well, that's the thing about the British, is we realised we don't need a fucking excuse, we just get wasted.
Well, to be actually, I don't know if huge amounts of alcohol consumption
Britain's like the American frat boy.
Well, no, I'm thinking about if huge amounts of alcohol consumption with us Americans, if that would actually like help or hinder like violent crimes.
Well, Britain knows, like, they're they let people drink earlier so people have more time to be like, let's get our, like, crazy drinking out of the way, and then we could just be responsible people and just with a buzz.
Also, people who are British or have British heritage have a naturally higher alcohol tolerance than most other people. And it's because when we were dealing with cholera, we found out that beer was safe. So as soon as you came off the tit, you went on to beer. And so if you were prone to any disease,
beer you'd die. You guys have now, but
isn't that the same logic with the fucking, I believe it's the Greeks and wine and water, where they had the fucking like diffuse their water or a wine with water to make it more, kind of thin, because they didn't believe in just drinking straight water because that had issues, or they saw it as barbaric. But then again, they also saw straight wine drinking as barbaric too, if I recall correctly.
Well, the Indians figured it out with tea. But I think that says something about us. Other country go for tea and wine, we just go, nah.
Alcohol. Beer. Oh, also, Matt, I left a picture for you in the Skype. Seizing the means of reproduction.
Seizing the means of reproduction?
Yes.
Seizing the memes?
No, the means. It's actual means. Seizing the means of reproduction. It's a picture of Karl Marx, and it's Trump saying grab him by the pussy, and it goes, grab him, seize, and then pussy means of reproduction. And it just looks like Karl, like, what the fuck?
Okay. All right.
This is the same picture of Karl Marx, like, slightly moved over and zoomed in on his face.
Yes. It's like, what?
Karl Marx had the face of someone someone's like very drunk uncle.
I could cosplay as Karl Marx.
You could.
There you go.
Karl Marx.
Karl Marx.
Carl's Jr. and Karl Marx.
Yeah.
Is he walking around with chicken in your hand?
The means of deliciousness.
You're walking around with chicken in your hand.
Oh my god, I want to make I want to make a restaurant called Karl's Marx now.
Exactly.
And have Karl Marx as my mascot and have communists be so fucking furious at me. And it's like, what you gonna do, bitches?
Oh God.
So good you can cause a revolution over it.
What would be some of the things? Okay, what would be the name of the food? What would be some of the things?
I don't know. We got to think of like your traditional like Big Mac, like the thing you're known for.
Yeah, let's start with like burger and fries.
Labor and value.
That would probably be the menu. Like that would be like the dollar menu kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that would be how the menu is displayed. Labor would be all the foods, and then the value would be all the prices.
Yes. The kitty playground could be the gulag. That's more of like a Soviet joke than a Marx joke, but
also, everyone needs to, all your employees need to refer to customers as comrade.
Yep. Welcome, comrade, to Karl's Marx. To Karl's Marx Jr. or whatever the fuck.
No, just Karl's Marx. We don't want to like.
Okay.
Or anything, man.
I don't know if you could. Could you get sued? If
I don't think you could if you said Karl's Marx Jr. But like,
I'm wondering if you could have.
Could you get sued if you made it Marx?
Maybe that should be the burger, like the big comrade, and like the comrade
instead of by Karl's Jr. Even though I think Karl's Jr. is kind of a shithole, if I remember right, at least with how they treat their employees. We get sued by the descendants of Karl Marx.
Yeah. Oh God!
Oh my God! I figured it out. Like the proletariat burger is just like a plain hamburger.
Wait, yeah, and the bourgeois burger. Oh yeah, that actually rolls off the tongue really well. That rolls off the tongue really well, actually. The bourgeois burger.
Yeah, that's like the super fancy burger. That's like the main specialty burger.
The socialist shake.
Socialist shake.
You need to work out some type of branding of Coke. That way you can have Coke in the building, just to have that nice symbol.
Well, I mean, red's a fairly predominant color for Marxism.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Oh God, if you partner with Coke and the fact that they fucking like kill union leaders in South America, it's like, Jesus, this is like the exact opposite.
I mean, to be fair, we have like a giant bobblehead Karl's Marx as the mascot.
Would we actually have like a person walk around dressed?
Yeah, I was about to say, is it like an actual like mascot, like Ronald McDonald from McDonald's, or is he going to be like the Colonel from KFC?
The Marx burger would be like a bacon cheeseburger, but the bacon would be like in an M.
every time you make a Marx burger, you hand it to somebody and just go, imagine the bacon is Napoleon. Wink. Like.
The placemats for the food should be the Communist Manifesto.
Yes, the entire Communist Manifesto.
Yeah, just font. Yeah, or
the Revolution Ranch Burger. No, ranch chicken.
Oh, that would be a good opener for customers. Hello, comrade. Would you like to seize the means of flavor?
Yes.
So the sad part is, I could see this actually working in America. I'm just wondering if it'll get firebombed by fucking pissed off communists.
Yes.
I don't know. Usually communists aren't like that bad in America.
I know, but it'd just be kind of hilarious.
Oh,
we could claim it's like a bullshit art project. It'd just be like no hit.
Ooh, all hell's coming up with so many good ideas. The restaurant's Hamburglar is Stalin.
Yes.
Stalin, get away from those burgers. Those aren't yours.
What would the grimace be?
Those belong to the people.
Right, instead of the actual Hamburglar, I'm imagining Swiper from Dora the Explorer with Stalin's head on it.
Yeah, it's just a weasel with Stalin's head. And it's like disturbingly realistic Stalin.
Is his power like able to make people disappear if you're around him too long?
If he wants your no.
Stalin's
If he wants your burger, he makes you disappear.
No. It's even better. He's like you're at the restaurant. Like it's a fucking commercial. Like you're at the restaurant, you're eating a burger. Well, this is kind of mediocre. I don't think it's all that good. And then you just disappear, and then Stalin comes in.
What about Gorbachev?
He's like, oh, did you just say something about the quality of the food? I didn't think so.
Also, on the character bio on the website for Stalin, it'd be like he's a big fan of Photoshop.
Feel free to Photoshop as much as you would like. He loves it. Oh God.
Oh my God, the proletariat patty. Yes, all hail.
Also,
I was thinking like one of the cheese things you can put on your burger would be proletariat
poultry.
Also, just to point out, Matt, if you branch out and start dealing like a different type of like genre fast food with the Karl Marx, if you go the Chinese, you know who you need to go to, and like attach it onto this.
Oh God, they make the burgers, but they don't put the bread on it. You have to go into a separate line to put the bread around your burger.
All the children's coloring books only have red, like various shades of red and yellow.
Lundy, they call that other line the literal
Good
bread
one,
line.
all hail.
Kids' meals have plastic hammers and sickles. Very good, all hail. Oh dear God.
They just have like various toy tools. It's like I got a plastic trowel. I got a plastic bucket.
I have a plastic hammer. Oh, you got a good one then.
The deluxe like kids meal or whatever has like a plastic assembly of a Moisen Nagant receiver for you to disassemble and put back together.
Every time a kid goes into the Gulag playground, they have to stay there for at least 20 minutes, and they're not allowed to leave.
Even in case of fire.
Yeah.
Except for like an angry robot at the door. It's like looking at his watch, and the kid's like, "Please, I'm getting smoke inhalation."
Oh my God! Now that you mentioned robot, I'm just imagining like fucking animatronic Chuck E. Cheese fucking shit.
Sure. We have our oh my God,
animatronic Stalin.
And then we eventually turn this into we make a video game like Five Nights at Freddy's style, where it's like a weasel with Stalin's head, and then like Karl Marx trying to kill you.
I love imagine outside the restaurant, it's like where it's just a giant fucking like plastic not plastic, fiberglass like Karl Marx, just holding up a proletariat patty.
Oh God, you have like a room where the animatronics sing.
Oh my God, yeah, that could be the name of them: the proletariat patty and the bourgeoisie burger.
Yeah, you have the animatronics singing in a fucking in a particular room where you go and watch them, but the only song they ever sing is the USSR anthem. It's the only one.
I still like that anthem, sadly.
It's a fun
it's a powerful anthem.
It works.
It makes you feel like, oh, I'm part of something fucking strong right now.
It's like, man, like, yeah, you can totally
I want to go
do it,
smash the
USSR.
bourgeoisie.
So wait, should the anthem be playing on like the little speakers inside the restaurant at a very low level, just for like ambience music?
Just literally at all times of the day.
Yeah.
It never stops.
Do you know how much like Republicans and shit would freak out over this?
Oh, if you had to set up in Washington, like in fucking like
that
Washington
would be
State and
free
Seattle,
marketing, Nick.
Yeah, it's free
Republicans would be
marketing.
like, look at this shit. Look, like it's a goddamn communist themed restaurant. And they're like writing blog articles, making YouTube videos, and fucking Fox News is talking about how much of a disgrace it is. And it's just like, hey, look at everybody talking about a restaurant.
The outside of it needs to have sandbags and barbed
Imagine
wire.
like the things Steven Crowder would start bitching about on his retarded show. I'm not supposed to use that word. I'm sorry. God damn it.
You are terrible at taking that word out of your vocabulary.
I can't. It's been like completely and utterly ingrained into it. No matter what I do.
Like your brain actually has that word like ingrained into its like.
Yeah,
fucking
like
surface.
if you do an fMRI, it actually spells out retard. Like. Strangely enough.
But Matt, if you set that up in Washington State and Seattle, you could set it up near the Lenin statue we have laying around. And set it up near there, it'll be perfect.
Oh god, and then fucking Gabe freaks the fuck out. It's like, ah!
Nobody outside.
Accurate portrayal of.
We have literal communists here.
Literally
Literal
nobody outside of
communists.
like you, me, and Matt and Skull know who Gabe is.
Yeah, I know, but it would be hilarious to.
And what would be even funnier is the fact that this communist restaurant does exist, but we're not teaching anyone actual communism. You're actually just teaching them like actually kind of fucked up capitalism.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of this entire.
yeah, that's the point of this. Skull. Karl Marx would never be okay with his image.
I know.
Yeah.
If we actually did this, Karl Marx might
raise from the grave.
Yeah, he might
actually come back to life and just start strangling us one by one.
Oh god.
God, now I'm picturing him being like more like the fucking
Tommy Chicken Fingers.
Tommy Chicken Fingers.
I'm just imagining all the different commercials that you could have for this restaurant. Like it'd be fucking great. It's just like you got somebody who's dressed up like Karl Marx with a big bobblehead Karl Marx face, and they're just like, here, and they're just like, here comrades, you can enjoy every single food that you could possibly want, so long as it is on this menu, and so long as you wait in this line. All of it is adequate. And only necessary for your continued survival, so that you can continue to work for the great Mother Russia.
Also, if you have actual coupons for
Yeah.
this restaurant, you need to make them look.
I
Like
didn't even try to
coupons
do a
for, like,
goddamn
wines and shit.
accent there. I mean, I just naturally sound German. I don't know.
No, like that's Karl Marx was German.
Yeah, I suppose you could.
Although that would be, to be fair, we are leaning way more on Soviet style.
Yeah, because how far can you go with the Karl Marx? I mean, he's a person.
Yeah, true. He has to be the mascot. What would Lenin be? And would Lenin be like the bird?
That or Grimace.
Big Bird or whatever the fuck.
Nah, Grimace
No,
would be like Gorbachev.
Complete with the fucking birthmark.
Yeah, but instead it's like ketchup or mustard.
Oh god.
I'm trying to
What would
picture.
the Fry Guys be? Would they just be like, these are the proletariat guys?
I'm just trying to
Or
picture
not
what
gender group. These are the proletariat them.
I'm trying to picture the uniform you're going to be making the employees wear. Oh
It's gonna
God!
be made out of burlap. That's for sure. Just lots of beiges.
Manager has to dress up like a Soviet officer.
Fry Guys are just random Antifa people. Like,
Yeah, they're just like big heads on long legs, and instead of like having like the dreadlocks and shit, they just have like bandanas and hoodies over their big bobbleheads.
Have a good. All right, see you, Mansoor. Have fun LARPing.
Video game tie-in. This with better games.
See you, Mansoor.
I still feel if you wanted to branch out your menu and go back beyond burgers, going Chinese with the Maoist route would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh god, the Maoist Chinese restaurant.
To be fair, we could have like a Maoist menu.
Exactly.
It's actually kind of catchy too. The Maoist menu. Have you ever gone to one of our restaurants?
The Great Leap Forward platter.
Have you ever gone to one of our restaurants and you thought to yourself, the selection here is a little bit limited? Well, that is kind of the point. However, we have listened to your demands, and since you are all a member of the working class, as we are, we have acquiesced to what you desire. Introducing the new Maoist menu.
The Maoist menu, Castro's choice.
Don't become a victim of the Great Famine. Come in today.
Pol Pot's pantry.
The Mao menu has nothing on it.
I'm picturing conservatives are coming in like, oh, this is bullshit. This is, and like the people who know communism, like, holy fuck, this is kind of some sick burns on communism.
Oh dear God.
The Khmer Rouge kitchen.
Well, the sad part is, if you want to go with any type of delicacy or any type of like culture's menu or whatever, just find whatever communistic party or state that had it.
Yeah, you got a good point. That's basically all you have to do.
Oh goodness gracious!
Like what country? What country is Chavez from?
Venezuela.
Yeah, so if you need
Venezuela.
to have
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Venezuela. Kind of like Canada. But
Canada.
Or democracy.
the democracy platter. No, I don't know a food that starts with D that we would have there. But it's actually hyphenated for democracy.
That's a menu that's just for Skull.
Yes, exactly. It's spelt in crayon.
Fucking the D.
Oh my god! Instead of French fries, we do tanky tots.
Tanky tots.
But you need to make all the languages snarky as fuck about communist shit. Like how, I think, was it Jim Chin or was it All Hill that was doing the entire like, hello comrade, do you want to seize the means of flavor or something like that? You need to do that like with everything when it comes to saying things.
Would you like to seize the means of insert thing here?
No, not necessarily just that, but more just weird.
Robert Owen onion rings. We could sign a deal with Mouse Rebel News. You could be like the fucking in restaurant television guy.
Oh god.
Then call us all privileged white middle class assholes. And it's like, I'm not middle class, neither's Matt. I mean, Nick is, but
well, I'm picturing Matt if he actually say like he gets
a chain. I'm only middle class.
Yeah, true. You're actually kind of very well off.
So yeah. I pictured Matt if he gets like rich enough and he actually gets like an entire chain of these things going on like in the entire West Coast or whatever, or wherever he's putting them. He gets powerful enough where he can trademark like Karl Marx's image somehow.
Yeah, I just become like a big fat business cat man. I literally start turning into like a cat
man.
Literally turn into a cat.
Yes.
I like literally start turning into the villain from Rescue Rangers.
Complete with the fucking mustache and everything.
Well, I'm just picturing like the dude at the patent office is kind of like going over documentations, like,
Oh God,
wait,
no!
we're
I know what
patenting
the
Karl
menu's
Marx's image.
called. I know what the main menu's called now. Animal Farm.
Oh my God! Whenever the people are ordering like through the drive-thru, it's like, may I take your manifesto today?
Oh God.
You also need to make the speakers kind of shitty, but not like the normal fast food shitty, more like fucking Soviet camps shitty.
Yeah, like Soviet loudspeakers. Like, hey, can I take your order, please? I don't know if it went over my mic well, but
That well. I know what you're trying to do. But oh God, I fucking and nobody's allowed to be happy. Like all the workers have to have like
all of them have to have straight face or just mild like an unpleasant
mild.
And also
demeanor.
the Mal menu, the kids menu for the Mal menu is a one-child policy.
Oh God.
Oh God! So you have the Mao menu,
You
and
can
then
only
the one-child
order. You
policy.
can only order for one child
Yeah.
off the Mao menu.
I kind of want to put this together just to make something this ridiculous.
It would make me so happy.
I don't know how much it would cost to just rent out a building for like 2 weeks to throw this together as some sort of stupid art project.
We could probably get a bunch of fucking shithead art students in on this.
Probably could, and then we can probably just like take a building that nobody's using and fucking do a basically squat in it, except turn it into like an art project.
We could like fucking. We could have like a television playing, but it would only play like fucking communist cartoons. But like the cartoons are like fucking, I don't know, like Hitler's the main like bad guy, and like every time he comes out, there's like this fucking stock sound of kids going boo every time he comes out.
Oh God, we do our own cartoons, and it's just like, yeah, Hitler.
Junction. You say please pay at the fourth window, and there's a long line of like 3 other windows, and all of them are boarded up, and the fourth one opens manually like a shutter.
Actually, okay, I really want to just ask around how much it would cost to get this thing, like, just a building for, like, I feel like we just need it 2 weeks. We're gonna, like, kind of tear the shit out of it, though. How much would that be? Because I'm sure I could get one for, like,
we don't really, again,
probably, like, 8 grand.
communists, like, be as sparse as fucking shit.
What, are we gonna make it out of cardboard, Matt?
Pretty much.
We go up in flames like in a fucking day.
I'm just picturing.
It's like, you don't need to firebomb us. We'll accidentally spill the grease on the cardboard walls.
Well, how many of us here have fast food experience?
I think just you and me, Skull.
Oh God, I'm gonna have the one cookie.
Oh, you're the general manager.
Oh no!
Congratulations on your promotion.
Fuck! I'm gonna be stuck in the Soviet outfit.
Oh God, you have to have like I don't know what the Soviet like.
I'm just picturing the manager
dress you like Stalin and give you
exactly
like, a Stalin mask to wear.
Like it's the hottest, has hot as fuck grill area, and you being dressed up as like the Stalin outfit. So sweating to death underneath all that shit.
Have fun. Hey, you'll make like $11 an hour. That's more than you've ever made before.
Oh fuck! I love Johnson.
Damn, hitting the fields.
Johnson's
You're manager now, Skull. You're moving up in the world. And I can't afford to pay you more, so you're fucked. I'm sorry.
Jemson's just like as the years go by, there's more and more potatoes on the menu, and the secret menu has missile launchers, vodka, and drugs. 2-for-1 sales on nukes.
Well, those are all alcoholic beverages. They're not really.
But to be honest, though, on the menu, you should literally have the option of just buying a potato, uncooked potato.
It's like 8 cents or something.
Yeah. It's like a side you can have with your foods, a potato.
The McMuffins on McCarthy, but like every time you order a McCarthy, it has to be served to you on a black fucking list.
Or just this would be too expensive. It comes in an empty briefcase.
Well, you can make the box. But Nick, you can make
Happy
the
Meals
box.
are like McCarthy briefcases.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm back. I got some
if you pay extra when you dine in, you get served at the table by really young serving women in skimpy outfits. What the fuck? Oh, God.
You may have gone too far.
There's a VIP lounge in the back for managers of competing restaurants.
You need to have.
I love that one way better. Oh, hell. Every McCarthy is just thrown at you, and everyone on staff has to look at you angrily.
It's like, okay, I don't know if this. Oh, I think I just broke my game. Huh. Oh no, it's okay. I don't know. Is there? I don't know if this exists anywhere other than Chicago. Does anybody else know what an Ed DeBevick's is?
I don't.
Nope.
It's like an old-timey restaurant where, like, when you're ordering, you get made fun of and stuff. It's hilarious, but it's kind of like an. It's kind of like
a fat fuck or something.
No, not that kind of made fun of, but they'll like tease you or mess with you, like do something.
Oh, all right.
It's fun. It's not like angry type. Like it's not like Sargon of Akkad's teasing you. It's like
I've heard of the concept before, where instead of people serving you with just being with a smile on their face and just like being very subservient to you, instead they're just
like snarky and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except for Soviets.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, you do need to do like capitalistic, like capitalism type of propaganda, but how powerful fucking capitalism is.
The background music in the restaurant is just Soviet number stations.
every time the person at the counter takes an order and they say it into the microphone, the capitalist dog would like blank.
The capitalist dog would like. Oh god, we have to get people who can do Russian accents too.
You need to do a sealed kitchen in the back, that way you don't see the workers.
Dog 418, like you just refer to them as capitalist dog and then by their receipt number.
Yeah.
The capitalist dog 413 would like a Big Mac, and then
no bourgeois burger.
Bourgeois patty.
There you go. Bourgeois burger. And then outside of every restaurant is like a little starving looking little girl who's holding a hat like that looks really sad.
She's part of the crew.
Yeah, she's part of the crew, so she's getting paid
not
minimum
really
wage.
starving, yeah.
Is this the authentic,
No, she
like,
might be. She's only making minimum wage.
The Siberian.
And we'll get around all those silly labor laws by saying she's an actor.
It's just like a scoop of vanilla ice cream with an ice cube.
You need to refer to like the outdoor patio area as Siberia. It's where to stick the people that we don't want inside the store.
Yes, we actually air condition our outside area too somehow.
Jefferson, we don't want this place to be illegal for existing. You can't have a guy outside where if you don't pass him $20, your car is missing when you leave.
Yeah, you can. You just don't say he's part of the staff. And you might not get repeat customers.
I'm trying to picture.
Very bad for the business.
Okay, so what would be our most clientele for this business? Would it be actual like communists like coming in to do something, or
no,
be more?
Absolutely not. Like,
I figured
get
not.
business, I think, but like Most of the people that walk in the restaurant would probably be like just pissed off old people being like, I had to fight the commies in World War II. It's like, no, you didn't fight commies in World War II, bro.
You probably fought Nazis. Those are kind of different.
Yeah, your dementia's acting up, man.
Nah, they'd probably be like, I fought the commies in the Vietnam War. Maybe. I don't know. Depends where you were.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, I'm trying to picture.
I had to fight in Grenada.
Well, I'm trying to picture
like 4 hours long, man.
Like, would the clientele be like alt-right, like Nazi like fucking Nazis who are just trying to be funny or trying to like get or be ironic?
I don't know. The thing is, it would either work really well because people would find it hilarious, or it would turn out that people are actually normal and our restaurant.
The Ho Chi Mince meat pie.
The Ho Chi Mince meat pie. Oh God. I'm also pretty sure, like, basically we've offended every group of people by making this restaurant in some way, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. And even if we don't offend you nearly by the concept of what we have, we're still probably going to offend you just through the way in which we would serve you.
Well, I mean,
I think my favorite part about this idea is the McCarthy, where you just throw it at the fucking person, everyone on the staff.
Here, fuck you. Yeah, everybody looks mad.
Whenever there's a new employee of the month, they just Photoshop like the
previous one out.
Yeah.
They don't Photoshop it; they Microsoft Paint it, or like that Paint program that comes with some Linux distributions.
What would the alt-right's fucking counter communist restaurant be?
Oh God, there would be
We're
so many
already
Pepes.
like going straight into straw communism, so I don't think they would really need a
Yeah, I mean they wouldn't, but they probably would, just for funds.
Like if the alt-right did their counter restaurant, there'd be a lot of Pepes.
Oh no,
so many Pepes.
Does anybody remember Tasty Freebies?
How do we make Auschwitz into a
restaurant?
A restaurant pun?
No, you're missing it. Dachau. The cow.
Oh, the cow. Oh no. Oh yeah. Also, while fact-checking Coughlin, there were in fact like 42,000 fucking death camps, or concentration camps in fucking good old-fashioned Germany and shit. That's
macaroni.
That's terrifying.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on your definition of concentration camp. Because that one paper I read actually had a very interesting definition of it. Because that also might be counting wild camps.
Hey guys.
Oh. Okay.
Wild camps are kind of weird.
Welcome back to the dumbest thing that's also the brilliant that's ever become.
I don't know if you've been paying attention to the fact that we have outlined an entire straw communist restaurant.
You say this. In Brighton, where I work, there is a communist restaurant that I often eat at, and it's brilliant.
Is it called Karl's Marx?
It's called Revolutions.
Oh. Well, we were doing a play on Carl's Jr. by calling it Carl's Marx.
What we were doing is we were making fun of communism,
Lundy,
in a friendly way.
Every time there's like a sales thing going on, there's like how McDonald's will be like, okay, we're having these new items, this new sale, summer sale or whatever. It needs to be like a revolution.
We have a new revolution.
New revolution.
Oh my god.
Oh god, and then the mascot every time is that Quajavera guy. Like the Revolution Desu, except for it's like whatever kind of sale we're having, like his face might be a burger or something.
Oh dear God.
You need to hire the guys from Epic Rap Battle to actually make the damn song for the business.
Actually, I should ask them and be like, hey, how much would it cost to have you guys make a song for this?
Well,
I'm sure I could get it for less than 15,000.
Like they're Stalin versus Vladimir. I feel like I think they could do a jingle for a fucking a restaurant. Proletariat masses.
Pol Pot pizza.
Oh god, the Pol Pot pizza.
I like that. I like how that sounds.
Chairman Chow Mein.
Well, we already had the Mao menu, and the Mao menu at first will have nothing on it.
And then eventually we kind of have to make it into a Chinese like restaurant type thing.
But also it has a one-child policy to it. You can only order one kids menu item from it.
There's just one kids menu for the whole store.
Yeah. I think my favorite idea we came up with was instead of the McMuffin, it's the McCarthy, and it has to be served to you by being thrown at you, and all the staff just looks at you angrily. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, I know about those. Jemison just linked the Coon Chicken Inn.
What?
Oh, yeah. Those are restaurants that either are or were in business, like, while we are alive.
Yeah.
Coon Chicken.
Coon Chicken Inn.
Here, I'll show you pictures of it. I showed CJ that once.
I'm not gonna screen share this, but I will definitely. You know what? Fuck it. I'm screen.
Oh god, what the fuck? It looks like King Kong.
Right?
Kind of, except for it's a really racist depiction of a black man.
That's kind of the point, though, because the racist depictions of black people have been of monkeys, basically, or apes in general.
You guys have gollywogs in the States?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
That sounds familiar.
Also, coming from someone of European descent, that sounds a little bit racist.
Just the word itself.
You guys have gollywogs over there. What's that?
People. It sounds like something that.
Do you people know what this is? Do you have this?
I know what it is. It's related.
It sounds way too cute to be an actual word.
Gollywogs over here were called Sambos.
That term holds more. Isn't Sambo supposed to be racist?
Yeah, but it also got turned into Sambo dolls.
Oh damn, I was right.
It's not like the worst thing you can call a black guy, but it's on like the same level as maybe Negro.
It sounds like a cartoonish way to like.
It is, because gollywogs are like
the children's toys.
You know, like with the Japanese, when like with going back to anime, where it's like with the big lips and the big eyes.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what a gollywog is.
Yeah, that's where gollywogs.
Just gonna point out, gollywog sounds like a Pokemon.
It does.
It really does kind of sound like a Pokemon. So yeah, I choose you, gollywog.
The Gollywog's Auto Go-Kart, a 1901 book by Florence K. Upton.
The first book written by a woman.
It's in the Discord. That's a gollywog.
I linked it in the chat here.
Oh God. Yeah, I see.
Gollywog.
It's a little racist.
It's a little racist, just a little bit. Well, shit. I mean, that's how that stuff would be animated back in like the really old Walt Disney days.
So the funny part is, and I think the best part I like about it is the fact it's not the fact that the portrayal of, you know, the African American person, like the actual face or the hair, it's the nice proper little outfit you put on them. I think it makes it just so much worse.
Yeah, all gollywogs have that little suit.
Yeah, just like, oh, we're taking the uncivilized masses and putting it, like, trying to civilize it by putting it into an outfit.
Like sometimes it has a shirt or a waistcoat, but they're always in a little red suit.
It's like it's this weird sort of like condescending thing.
Yeah,
it's like the savage, isn't it cute?
It's like taking a kid and putting it in like a little suit.
It's like dressing up a pug.
Oh,
what the fuck?
Matt, that came out wrong, man.
Yeah, that did.
Or did it come out right? I don't know. I'm gonna go get some tea.
I hope it came out wrong.
The way you said it is like he agreed with the concept. Like,
Oh,
like,
I'll dress up a black guy. Whatever.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's just like dressing up a pug, man.
What? Oh fuck. Oh god, racism.
It's like if you ever watch the Disney movie Dumbo, and then look at the four birds in that, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way they looked wasn't too bad, but like the way they talked.
Well, yeah, the second they happen to be a black animal and they're dressed like that and they talk like that, it's like, oh.
It's like it's the trifecta. It's like, oh, okay.
I could probably forgive any two of these things.
But put them together, and now it's not all right. Oh fuck! I still love Song of the South. It's one of the funniest fucking movies in hindsight. Like, it's like, okay, so slavery just ended like not that long ago in this continuity, right? Okay, that's good to know. And now you have this like rich white kid living on a plantation and with servants, quote unquote, and he doesn't like that his dad's not around anymore because he has to go off on business trips. So he goes and bothers an ex-slave with his problems. I just like, it's like every time he goes to Uncle Remus's fucking shack, I just want to imagine Uncle Remus being like, "Now you should probably get the hell out of here before I get shot, little boy. You're not supposed to be here." Oh fuck.
Huh, there's actually more like Karl Marx being Santa Claus memes than I was expecting.
I don't know what led you into that search.
The internet giveth.
Yeah, pretty much the internet giveth.
And one jar exists, the internet taketh away.
Yeah.
Fucking internet.
Oh God.
I think my favorite
Okay.
Gollywog on this page is the Gollywog perfume bottle.
So in one of my next Let's Plays, you might run into one of my soldiers with Chief Wiggum as a voice.
Chief Wiggum?
Yep.
Okay. By the way, have we died yet?
No,
Okay.
I haven't played since that episode.
Okay. Fucking Sammy as Claptrap is amazing. Every time you give him an order and Claptrap's voice comes out, like, oh my god. I can't handle it.
It was either that or have him speak Spanish, but I was just like, nah, Claptrap. I already have Matt speaking Spanish.
And I'm speaking French. Because why the fuck not?
What are you guys know about?
Oh, XCOM 2.
I have a XCOM 2
yeah.
Legendary Iron Man Let's Play, and I named all of my soldiers after, like, Matt and Sammy and Lundy and Skull.
It's the first thing you do in XCOM is you put your friends in it and then watch them all die.
Yes.
Yep.
I can go through, like, normal game without losing a soldier, so we'll see how bad I do on...
Oh, it's fucking hilarious when I play old com because I go through them like fucking the Soviet army.
Wait, you mean like the original XCOM or?
Yes.
Okay.
Because in that game you can actually afford to lose them.
It's because you end up with being able to have a squad of 20 of the bastards.
Oh my god! I figured
Not just that, but also
I came back. I went to get ice cream. Fascist fries, and whenever you order them, they're all broken.
And the only thing you lose from members being killed is a score, but you can make that up and fucking run, like just shooting down crafts. And when it comes to money for actually hiring new crew members, you're making so many laser cannons by a point I get to.
Also, we missed the thing with the children's meals. The toys should be bricks and 2x4s.
Why not the plastic sickle and hammers? Like, why?
I don't know. I just like the idea of a brick and 2x4.
You just love the image in
Actually,
your head of somebody opening a Happy Meal and getting a brick.
actually, on the topic, I have something cool to show you guys. Just a second.
Casey, you don't eat chocolate ice cream. Quit fucking whining.
Just like, what if you let me, you little fuck?
God damn, when people yell and you think, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? And everyone's laughing. But, Aldcom, yeah, pretty much by the time, like, around mid-game, you really can lose, like, XCOM members and it makes no difference.
I think at least a while ago, I'm not sure what difficulty, I could probably do it without losing soldiers.
Yeah, I found it. In this restaurant. Yeah. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have Soviet naval officer's knife. A friend of mine left it to me before he died. So everyone gets a steak dagger.
That's the only utensil.
Yeah,
Steak dagger.
this. Just every fry. That's all you get. Can we also have a fascist restaurant next door and they're just separated by a really thick brick wall and that's it?
Yeah, but it would be kind of.
They share the same kitchen.
Well, I'm picturing
yeah.
it.
Actually,
I'm
that's it. There's just a waist-high wall in the kitchen and there's just constant fighting going on.
Yeah, there's
After,
a bunch of bullshit get flinged at each
after
other.
my Witcher episodes are done uploading, I'm gonna have Breath of the Wild episodes.
Oh, also, Nick, there has been a request for a cat girl chicken inn.
Oh God.
In the same vein as the Coon Chicken Inn. So like,
God, you have to keep in mind in my world, chickens are like that's true. So
it's got to be some other animal.
Cat girl iguana inn.
No, that doesn't like have the alliteration going though.
Cat girl chihuahua inn.
Cat girl chihuahua inn.
Cockatiel.
Could have cat girl kike.
Oh God.
Just bringing a whole different form of casual racism.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Ooh.
I
don't
do.
know how much. I don't know how much you can go with the fascism one though, until like you start running the issues.
Yeah, that's the problem. The Nazis might actually like it.
Hey, you got a business going then.
And we could maybe poison them.
But how funny would it be if you're using the profits of that business to turn around and it's like fun fucking like pretty much communistic groups or anti-fascist like organizations?
Well, it would be interesting. Also, I don't think your profits from that would be large enough to actually make a dent anywhere. So.
Oh yeah, like you're not actually doing anything. It'd just be kind of.
Just donate it to the Holocaust Museum, you know?
There you go.
Like I said, the best thing would
We're
be to
sorry. We didn't expect this to make a profit. We just thought it would go under, but apparently it's doing very well. So we feel bad, and we're going to give the Holocaust Museum some of our money.
It started as a joke, and now I feel the need to cleanse my soul.
Yeah.
I don't know how to segue from anything else now.
You mean to anything else?
Well, see, that's kind of the power of communism. Once you're in it, you can't really leave.
Yeah, I guess we could go to fascism. I mean, that's the only other thing we got now.
Like, look at all the other countries that tried to leave communism. They are not in the best shape afterwards.
I mean, Germany.
Communism, though?
I mean, at least half of it.
Yeah, East Berlin,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Just a minor thing, you know.
Oh god, I had to go find that video to show you guys because that shit was funny. It was like a training video for post-occupation U.S. troops on German soil.
Oh god.
And all it was is never trust the German is pretty much what the video was. They started World War I, they will start World War II, they will start World War III. So always be alert, never befriend them.
They are an inherently evil breed. War
Yeah, that's
is their bread.
That's actually
Death is
literally
their butter.
what they were kind of going into.
The Germans are a warlike people. Keep your distance.
You can interact with them. Do not show hostility, but do not.
The
befriend
Hun
them.
will kill you in a second. Just to state the inevitable bloodlust he will feel at any moment.
Always be vigilant. If any suspicious activity, make sure to report it to your to the higher command.
Never trust a shower you do not know.
Let me go find that video because that video was fucking amazing.
Baby Jesus bless you.
I was about to say, thanks, assholes. Nobody blessed me. Now I'm going to hell because my soul just escaped.
You're going to hell anyway.
Maybe. I think Jesus would like me.
You don't believe in God, Matt.
Yeah, but, you know, Jesus believed in me. He was always there for me at my Little League games and my recitals.
Or the times there were just one set of footprints.
He actually came to one of my recitals and was like, "You are never succeeding," and he hit me with the clipboard and like just ran off. That skull playing the... Jesus Christ, actually, now that I think about it, Matt, how long has this hang-up been going on?
I don't know. Oh, wow.
The video is called Your Job in Germany.
Did it use the correct your skull? Because I know you have trouble with that.
Yes, they used the correct your.
Good.
Or does it?
Yeah, or does it? How can we trust you, Skull?
Okay, so how many times do I have to state that I'm an idiot? It's a
Oh,
pretty useful get out of jail free card, to be honest. Is just to admit you're an idiot and everyone's kind of just, fuck it.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
2 hours.
just like
Stream's been going apparently.
oh.
It's the best get out of jail free card.
Oh no, like the best is probably like I'm retarded.
Is that what you have?
No, I
Is that what
play
you
the
do, Matt?
autism card, which is pretty sweet.
Can you like run someone over and be like, "Oh God, I'm sorry, I'm autistic. I don't know what's going on."
No.
But he can sure as hell try.
Yeah, but I can knock something down in the store and just be like, I don't know any better. And it's like,
Fuck. Why would you just purposely knock something down in the store?
Also, just
Because
a
you can
quick
get away with it.
anyone who's watching that
Nick, I was a mean drunk.
anyone who's watching the video I linked, I do love how they're the portrayal of their American serviceman who's going to be in Germany looks very Soviet-esque in art design.
With a very German-looking helmet.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's up with that.
So it's like a Soviet uniform and like a German helmet?
No, it's a U.S. uniform. It's just the way it's drawn. It looks like something I would expect off of a Soviet fucking poster.
Oh.
Because it's like a very simplistic design. It kind of looks like something you would see in Papers, Please, if that makes sense.
Oh. Well, not really, because Papers, Please, you only see
It's not.
pixels.
Well, that and also, I don't believe that's actually on communism. I think that's supposed to be
I have no idea.
Russian.
I have no idea what the fuck Papers, Please is supposed to be.
Passport control.
Well, I know it's passport control, but I don't know what country it's supposed to be.
Artstovska, a fictional one that's meant to be in.
Right. I know the fictional country, but I don't know
It's
the
basically
analog.
supposed to be all of the Eastern European communist countries.
Oh.
Same as Latveria.
I think the big one, if I remember right from an interview, is Yugoslavia. I think that was the big inspiration.
Oh.
All right, I think I'm going to end this stream because I'm starting to nod off.
Sorry, I was just watching the video. It's pretty much, you'll see beautiful country. Don't be fooled. It is enemy country.
It's it's beautiful, but fuck everyone who lives there.
Yeah, it's be suspicious always.
Never let your guard down around the Hun.
Or Jerry will end your shit.
Also, favorite comment, Austria really started both world wars. Started World War I with the entire, events that happened. Started World War II by not accepting Hitler into the Vienna art school.
Was that really Austria's fault, though?
No, it's not, but it's a fucking hilarious comment to me. It's fuck, okay, if you want to, that's going to be your angle.
Like that one art teacher who just thinks for the rest of his life, my God, what did I do?
Go back in time and punch Hitler. That's not an original idea.
Time kickers.
Honestly, I wouldn't go back and kill Hitler given the chance because I don't know how much worse it could have been. So
I forget. There's
the
real guy who, if you want to skirt that whole fascism in Germany thing, I forget his name, but he was one of the big generals. Because he was the one who came up with the great betrayal myth.
Yeah, that kind of inspired a lot of anti-Semitism.
And it was the first fascist party in Germany, which it didn't succeed, but it laid the groundwork for the Nazis.
Also, I don't know what I would want to kill Hitler if I time traveled, but to be honest, I don't know what it'd be like an experiment. I don't know what to do.
You know what I would want? I want to stop Hitler from killing himself.
I don't know if it would be funny.
I'd like to see the Soviets get their hands on Hitler.
Oh, I'm just trying to go, would it be kind of funny to hand Hitler, a biography of himself, from the 2000s that's, written in German for him to read? I don't know if that would be kind of hilarious. Wait, what?
I don't know if you guys ever played the video game I Have No Mouth That I Must Scream.
Yes, I've seen.
Well, when you play as Nimdok, the German scientist who's meant to have worked alongside Dr. Mengele, the reason supposedly that Hitler killed himself is because he looked into a mirror, which makes you see yourself with perfect objectivity. So he immediately blew his fucking brains all over the wall.
And Mengele fucking gets frozen in terror of what he is.
As you have a golem crush his brain. Yeah.
I really do need to look up like Jewish and or Hebrew mythology because I really want to start knowing more about the golem around it. I know some like basic versions of the story, but I'm kind of curious why exactly he's supposed to symbolize.
There's a lot of I could go into it, but I'd end up just ranting for half an hour about Jewish mythology. But a lot of it's interesting, if weird, like the whole myth of Lilith, Adam's first wife.
Yeah, the first, which is like some people qualify as like a succubus, or I think the first succubus is usually how people kind of popularly portray it.
Well, she's either, depending on how you look at it, she's kind of the first vampire, but can only feed on children, despite the fact there weren't any children on the world yet. But there we go.
To be honest,
and there was this one story when she fucked a demon by a riverside, and yeah, it gets weird.
Didn't the Greeks have similar like things going on with creatures that can only feed upon children?
Every culture has that somewhere.
Yeah, like I think
every culture has a dragon, every culture has a vampire, every culture has something that kills children.
Yeah, it's. I have to go look into it. I think the Lamia was the one from Greek mythology. I'm not sure.
No, Lamia is India.
Okay.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna end the show. I'll see everybody sometime. I'm gonna go to dreamy Bid-Bye land. Bye bye.
He's ice cream and now he's tired.
I did have my ice cream and now I'm tired.
He is kind of like a kid like that.
I am. See you guys whenever.
Do.